Naruto God Level Majin Buu, Chapter 161-180. 161 Light of the Stars, Uchiha Chen. You really turned on Mangekyo Sharingan. Second Elder Uchiha Jing opened his mouth slightly in surprise. No wonder even he was so surprised. Although it was speculated that Chen opened Mangekyo Sharingan, it was still difficult to digest the news after being confirmed by Chen himself. It's really Mangekyo Sharingan. Even Uchiha Jing was full of excitement at this time. He said, "God bless Uchiha, my Uchiha clan has inherited for so many years. Only the former Uchiha clan leaders Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Izuna opened Mangekyo Sharingan, and now they are again. One more person, God bless Uchiha." Wonder Uchiha Jing is so excited. The strongest of the Uchiha clan is Sharingan, and Mangekyo Sharingan, which has only appeared in the history of Uchiha legend. So far only two people have it, namely Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Izuna. Mangekyo Sharingan, if you are fake. Chen said lightly, and at the same time a pair of eyes became bloody Yuhi, showing Mangekyo Sharingan. The shape of the three tomo in Chen's eyes changed, turning into a three-lobed meniscus. Sharingan looked strange and eye-catching, mysterious. The second elder, Uchiha Jing, saw Mangekyo's shape. He was convinced, and was amazed. Sure enough, Mangekyo Sharingan. The second elder seemed very excited. After many years, my Uchiha family finally has another talented Mangekyo Sharingan who opened the eyes, and God bless my Uchiha family. Chen glanced at the second elder helplessly. This guy really is a fanatic who wants to revive the Uchiha family. It seems that many people in the Uchiha family in the original book have this idea, such as Sasuke. Chen pouted, but didn't answer. However, the eyes of the second elder looking at Chen were completely different. When Mangekyo Sharingan is opened, Chen's status in the Uchiha clan is immediately different at this moment. Of course, only the Uchiha clan elders and the head of the family are qualified to know about the secret matter of opening Mangekyo. Today's Chen, it can be said that his status in the Uchiha clan will also skyrocket. Originally, Uchiha Ming was very good to Chen, and he valued him very much, but now Chen Sharingan opens his eyes, which will only make Uchiha Ming pay more attention to him. The patriarch has already told me that I will cooperate with you in anything on the battlefield. If you need any help, you can always come to me. The second elder said, and immediately gave Chen a very powerful blessing. Prophet. Chen's heart moved, but he was a little overjoyed, which also showed Uchiha Ming's attitude. It seems that the Uchiha family will fully support him on the battlefield, which makes Chen very happy. After chatting with the second elder for a while, he said goodbye and left. After sending off the second elder, Chen then practiced yin and yang under the guidance of the old man's 6 paths. The cultivation of yin-yang escape is really not easy. Chen does not have the kind of success in the original book that Sasuke has inherited from the 6 paths immortal, so he can only rely on his own cultivation. Apart from practicing yin-yang escape, Chen basically stays with Tsunade. Under Chen's care, Tsunade quickly walked out of the blow of the death of the tree, and the smile on his face gradually increased. Tsunade is not an ordinary woman after all. She is much stronger than ordinary men. Only Chen can see her weak side. Likewise, these days, Lichen and Tsunade are making rapid progress. After this incident, Chen and Tsunade are very aware of each other's feelings, understand each other's feelings. Their feelings gradually warmed up and sparked. At this moment, Chen took advantage of Tsunade's little hand. Tsunade gave Chen an angry look, but acquiesced. HMPH. You guy, you don't know how to provoke girls to like it. Tsunade couldn't help but feel a little jealous, thinking of Kushina and Makoto. Chen lightly coughed and said, "Doesn't this mean your eyesight is good?" At this time, Chen is decisive and thick-skinned, and Yuhi's heart is not beating on his face. Cheeky. Tsunade couldn't help but let out a laugh, then rolled his eyes at Chen again, seeing Chen's heart beating a little with his movements. Soon a ninja came to report that Jiraiya came with 3 of Conan, and invited Tatsu and Tsunade to the council hall. Jiraiya finally arrived, and now that the situation is urgent, he came back immediately when he heard the news of Naoki's death, knowing the seriousness of the situation. However, when I received information on the way, I learned that Chen actually killed Shiraito, and I was shocked and unbelievable. As for Chen's strength, Jiraiya is very clear. Chen was the strength of Zunying before. Chen was able to kill a cage-level powerhouse like Shiraito, and he has grown into a cage-level powerhouse. With mixed feelings, Jiraiya brought the three of Conan to the stronghold. When Conan saw Chen, his eyes lit up. He rushed towards Chen, smiled sweetly, and hung on Chen's body and refused to come down. So Chen has a koala named Conan on his body. Brother Chen, we have been hearing about your deeds along the way. Hee. Now the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain has spread all over the place. Conan smiled happily, and immediately told Chen what he saw on the road like a treasure. Tsunade on the side saw how close Conan and Chen looked, and couldn't help frowning slightly, as if a little jealous, but the brows quickly relaxed again. Oh, what are you talking about me? Chen smiled and pinched Conan's nose, with an intimacy on his face, making Conan giggling. Conan said, many ninjas were talking about you along the way. We all heard them. They said that you killed a super powerful ninja in Iwagakure village and called you Starlight. The name of the light of the stars seems to be a good name. Chen has many names before, such as Konoha, the star of tomorrow, the death of thunder, etc. Chen thinks that the light of the stars is better. The so-called light of the stars is the most dazzling existence in the battlefield, as dazzling as the stars. Such a title is enough to prove the prestige of this moment on the battlefield. Thank you and a friend for the reward, and thank you very much Philo for reminding you. 162 You are too young to stop the medicine. The light of the stars, this title is very appropriate. Tsunade said softly, remembering Tatsu's appearance on the battlefield. The title of the light of the stars is not given at will. Previous titles such as Konoha's rising star were all strongly directed. When Chio thought Chen would be Konoha's rising star, that's how he called him. Today, many ninjas believe that Chen is as dazzling as a star on the battlefield, which is why Chen is called the light of the stars. Light of the stars. Chen pondered the title and found it to be good, so he borrowed it unceremoniously. Now is the time of war. Conan, the three of you don't run around, just stay at the stronghold during this time, and I will let someone take care of you. Chen rode. Chen is worried about the comfort of the three Conan three. After all, the three children have not grown up yet, and even the strongest Nagato is not as good as the ordinary Jonin, and has no self-protection power at all. In addition, Tatsu didn't want other people to discover the secret of Nagato's Rinnegan, so he simply hid them in the stronghold. Yes. Of course, Yahiko and Nagato had no objection. Nagato Yuhi's hair covered Rinnegan, so he was not afraid of others finding out. Yahiko and Nagato are now just obedient to Tatsuya. Conan, you go down first. Chen waved his hand. He knew that Jiraiya, Orochimaru and others must have something to discuss with him, and the three of Conan should not be here either. The three of Conan retreated in accordance with their words. Before leaving, Conan boldly kissed Chen before leaving with a sound of laughter like a silver bell. Chen touched his cheek and showed a smile. Jiraiya, on the other hand, only smiled bitterly. His eyes turned between Chen and Tsunade, but he could see something. The relationship between Chen and Tsunade, I'm afraid, I'd better find other beautiful sisters, and Tsunade really isn't my thing. Jiraiya shook her head, thinking to herself. Tishin, you are famous now, but killing Shiraito also makes Iwagakure hold a grudge. Shiraito is the younger brother of Onoki, the third-generation Tsuchikage 2-day scale, and he is also a high-level executive of Iwagakure. Now Iwagakure should see you as a thorn in the eyes. Jiraiya kindly reminded. Of course Chen knows this, but now Chen and Iwagakure have a deadly feud. Perhaps after Chen killed the 50-member Iwagakure team, he had a complete relationship with Iwagakure. Inside the chamber, Chen, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, Tsunade, 4 people sat down. That Jiraiya had rushed back, White Fang left the stronghold and went back to the line of defense he was guarding. After all, a full-scale war was launched, and White Fang was only here to support him, so he couldn't stay here for too long. It's Chen and Sannin again. Atmosphere was a little silent, perhaps because of Naoki. As Tsunade's younger brother, Shinobu has a very good relationship, and Orochimaru even taught Naoki himself for a while. Everyone was silent for a while. Chen was the master of Tsunade's delicate little hand, as if giving Tsunade strength. Tsunade's face turned to Yuhi, his eyes recovered, and he glanced at Chen, suddenly full of power. Tsunade adjustment. A good mood, he opened his mouth and said, "After this battle, we have completely feuded with Iwagakure. And Sunagakure and Iwagakure see how good we are, and it may actually prompt their alliance, so we need to be more careful in the future." Chen agrees, Tsunade is right at all. After this battle, Sunagakure and Iwagakure will be more closely connected in the future. Chen killed Shiraito, killed 50 people Iwagakure squad, and Iwagakure also killed Naoki. The two sides became feud. As for Sunagakure's side, White Fang killed the Akasha couple and Chiyo still holds a grudge. It can be said that the current Konoha has a feud with both Iwagakure and Sunagakure, and the strength shown by Konoha makes Iwagakure and Sunagakure quite jealous. The enemy of the enemy is the friend, and in this case, Iwagakure and Sunagakure are likely to reunite. Jiraiya glanced at Chen and Tsunade's tightly clasped hands, and found that Tsunade was gradually becoming more cheerful, so she said sourly, "It's not a big deal, it's not a big deal, we won't win them this time, and we will continue to win next time. It's good to fight." At this time, Jiraiya can only say that he has a general grasp of the situation of the battle. As soon as he said these words, Lien Chen couldn't help but turn to Byakugan. "I can win Iwagakure and Sunagakure this time because of the timely rescue." Moreover, the original Sunagakure and Iwagakure alliances were loose, and it was just a temporary coalition. If the two villages were truly united, we would definitely not be rivals. Sunagakure and Iwagakure are two superpowers after all, and the two powers work together, and Konoha is really not an opponent. Otherwise, how could this war last for so long, and Konoha would have to settle it directly. Chen pouted, looked at Jiraiya and said, "Young man, still too young to stop the medicine." After being complained by Chen, Jiraiya's face became Yuhi, the corners of her mouth twitched, and she coughed to hide her embarrassment. "Our number of ninjas is too small, but fortunately, in terms of high-end combat power, it is not inferior to the two countries," Orochimaru said lightly, and gave Chen a special look. Chen's current strength is enough to compete with ordinary cage-level powerhouses. Of course, there are strong and weak cage-level powerhouses, and the difference is huge. For example, as strong as the third-generation Tsuchikage, with Jinten particle style, such a powerful bloodstain elimination, it can be called the leader among the cage-level powerhouses, and there are relatively weak cage levels, such as today's Sannin, who are initially entering the stage in the cage-level stage. Chen is the same. Of course, Chen and Sannin still have a lot of room for growth in the future, and Sannin is very strong in the later stage. Needless to say, Chen has just started Mangekyo Sharingan, and he has not yet fully utilized the Master's pupil power. Waiting for Chen to gradually strengthen its strength, the future growth space is even more limitless. Let's see, if Iwagakure has any changes, leave it to me. How do you see? Chen looked at Sannin. You. For a time, Orochimaru and Jiraiya were both surprised. They didn't expect Chen to suddenly make such a decision. And Tsunade's beautiful eyes flashed, and there was a hint of worry. Chen's decision is indeed a bit bold. Subscription, just set it up. Some friends who like to gain weight, please set it up. Everyone's support is the biggest motivation of the watermelon code word. To read the novel without underline, please download the novel. 163 Control Amaterasu. Chen's creativity. Sanin looked at Chen in surprise, especially Tsunade, full of worry. He didn't expect Chen to make such a decision suddenly. Chen smiled and said, "Yes, you will leave everything to me, and Iwagakure will be handled by me. You Sanin will deal with Sunagakure. You Sanins will cooperate with each other tacitly, and you should be very sure of dealing with Sunagakure. Having said that, you face Iwagakure alone." Jiraiya's subconscious objection. Although Tsunade didn't say anything against it, but a pair of eyes looked at Chen as if they could talk, and a worried look flashed in her beautiful eyes. Chen chuckled and said in a low voice, "Don't worry, if you really can't deal with it, I won't force it." Hearing Chen say this, Jiraiya agreed. And Tsunade's eyes were a little moved. She knew that the reason why Chen was going to deal with Iwagakure was actually to help her get revenge. For now, I'll keep an eye on Iwagakure and Sunagakure's movements. I've sent all the sentinel ninjas to gather intelligence. Orochimaru's voice was low. Chen pouted. In fact, without inquiring about the intelligence, Chen also knew what the next movements of Sunagakure and Iwagakure would be, and he could also guess. At this point, Iwagakure will definitely send someone to discuss the alliance with Sunagakure, and then it will be a truly thrilling big move. Discussing with Sanin, Tatsu walked out side by side with Tsunade. Tsunade looked at Chen with a pair of beautiful eyes, but he hesitated. "What's wrong? Chen is a little strange." Tsunade said lightly, "Your strength has grown so much now, but the power of those eyes is strong, but you shouldn't use them frequently, otherwise there should be a lot of hidden dangers." Chen was stunned, but Tsunade seemed to know some of Mangekyo Sharingan's secrets. But it's normal to think about it. The Senju family and the Uchiha family have a deep relationship. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama are the old rivals of Uchiha Madara. The Senju family is probably the one who knows the Sharingan best except the Uchiha family. In addition, Tsunade is also a grandmaster of medical ninjutsu, so she can sense something to some extent. Seeing Tsunade so worried, Chen's heart warmed, and thinking about Tsunade being so concerned, he felt very good. "You are caring about me." Chen smiled and rolled his eyes. Tsunade was stunned for a moment, and immediately saw the color of Chen's eyes, and said angrily, "What are you talking about? Who is worried about you?" Tsunade is duplicitous, and Yuhi's dizzy face has betrayed her. "Your face Yuhi is so cute." Chen brightly admired and smiled. Tsunade's face became more Yuhi, and he glared at Chen. This guy really said, "Don't worry, I have it. Take advantage of this power." Chen. He stroked Tsunade's cheek lightly. The side effects of Mangekyo are clear to Chen, and it is precisely because of the clear understanding of Wan's side effects that Chen will work hard to practice yin-yang escape. "That's fine." Tsunade was slightly relieved to see Tatsu's serious expression. Now she is very concerned about Chen. She lost her brother, but she doesn't want to lose her lover again. It's not good for you to be seen." Tsunade struggled a little, but it was really small to resist. "Don't worry, no one who doesn't open their eyes will come to disturb you." Chen rode. The ninjas in the stronghold all vaguely understood the relationship between Chen and Tsunade, and of course they wouldn't bother them so blindly. "I'm going to see the Konan Trio 3. Chen kissed Tsunade on the cheek. "Well." Tsunade's face is Yuhi, and his voice is like a mosquito. Chen left in a good mood. Tsunade was watching the back of Chen's departure. His face was even more familiar with Yuhi, and there were clear reflections of Chen in his eyes, and when Chen left, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Chen finds the Konan Trio 3. Brother Chen. When he saw Chen, Konan hung on Chen's body like a koala and refused to come down. Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and he didn't know how this girl was clearly a small iceberg in front of others. How could she be so lively in front of him? But that's fine. Konan's scenery, only he can appreciate it. This largely satisfies someone's possessiveness. I pinched Konan's face and checked the current strength of Konan's 3-3, and found that all three of them have improved a lot, especially Nagato. Nagato has Rinnegan in his body, and the growth rate is self-evident. Chen was very satisfied with the progress of the three small strengths, and encouraged and rewarded him a lot, which made Nagato and Yahiko look high. For them, getting Chen's approval was the greatest satisfaction. Woke up, Chen threw himself into a new practice. Chen only did two things during this time. One is to get familiar with Mangekyo Sharingan's ability, and the other is to practice yin-yang escape. Mangekyo's ability is not familiar to Master Chen. After all, it has just been activated. Amaterasu's abilities, in particular, are not very well controlled. Kaguya-Sumiyo, that controls the flames like Sasuke does. Amaterasu's control is more troublesome, which is a problem. So Chen has been thinking hard, wanting a more perfect Master Mangekyo's ability. Chen was on the way to practice, and suddenly there was a flash of inspiration. If he wanted to control Amaterasu, isn't there a ready-made method? Chen suddenly thought of an excellent idea. 164 The fusion between Amaterasu and Yangdun. Although Chen doesn't have the ability to control flames like Guiju Earth Life, but Chen has another thing, Yangdun. One of Yangdun's nature transformations is to inject life into ninjutsu and control changes. Among them, Gaara's sand and Akamichi's doubling technique utilize the power of Yangdun. If you combine Yangdun with Amaterasu, wouldn't it be possible to control Amaterasu at will, just like Sasuke's Amaterasu? The power between the two may make Amaterasu stronger, even stronger than Kagutume plus Amaterasu. If Yangdun is as he thought, and can control Amaterasu's changes, then any Jiagutume is just a floating cloud. Maybe Chen will be fortunate. Fortunately, his right eye is not a tasteless skill like adding earth life. Yangdun and Amaterasu may create a super powerful ultimate move. Old man, you said that if I integrate Yangdun into the fire of Amaterasu, use Yangdun to control Amaterasu to change its form, and by the way, integrate Yangdun into Amaterasu. Nature transformation, what do you think? Chen asked. What? The Six Paths old man was stunned instinctively, as if he didn't react. Chen said it again. Six Paths understood it now, and exclaimed in amazement. Boy, old man, I admire your creativity a little bit. Yangdun's nature transformation and morphological changes, plus the unquenchable Amaterasu. Even the old man of Six Paths was slightly shocked. Maybe Chen, this kid will really create a super ninjutsu. Whether it is Yangdun or Amaterasu, it is not an ordinary level of ninjutsu. If you want to combine the two, it is very difficult, especially if you want to inject Yangdun's nature transformation into Amaterasu. It will be far more difficult than what you create. Rasenshuriken is harder. Quote. Six Paths old man said. Chen nodded, indicating that he understood. Rasenshuriken is just a nature transformation that injects the winded tribute into the super ninjutsu Rasengan, leaving a genius like Namikaze Minato helpless. Naruto is also thinking hard. It took a long time and multiple shadow clone, which can be called cheating ninjutsu, to think the solution. Even Rasenshuriken is so difficult, not to mention Amaterasu plus Yangdun. Injecting Yangdun into Amaterasu, the difficulty is definitely several times higher than Rasenshuriken, even dozens of times. More importantly, the reason why Chen was so fast Master Rasenshuriken before is very big. To a certain extent, he cheated Master by relying on the experience in the original work. Now Chen needs to develop a new ninjutsu relying on himself, and the difficulty is even higher. It is really difficult to develop such a ninjutsu. Chen admits, but more expects. It is precisely because of this that this ninjutsu has the value of development. If it's just poo, how can I see Uchiha Chen? Chen spoke with a confident air. To develop must be a super ninjutsu. The old man of Six Paths couldn't help but admire when Chen said this. That's right, brat, the mood you are in now is worthy of your pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. Your mood is brave and you can be regarded as a real powerhouse. The Six Paths old man is generous with his compliments. Chen smiled, Perhaps after opening Mangekyo Sharingan, Chen really became one of the strongest in the Hokage world, and his mood also changed, becoming more calm and confident, but also more eager to pursue strength. Finally traveled to the world of Hokage. If I didn't get to see the scenery at the top of the world, wouldn't I be blind? If that's the case, then I'll try to combine Amaterasu and Yongdun. Chen smiled and started to try. Since this is a brand new spell that didn't even appear in the original book, Chen is now crossing the river by feeling the stones, and even the old six paths can give very limited help. Chen's eyes became a piece of blood Yuhi, the three-lobed crescent-like Mangekyo Sharingan showed, a heart-pounding force erupted in vein, and the surrounding chakras were also surging like a tide. Amaterasu. Chen released Amaterasu, a black flame that burned like hellfire, consuming everything. Amaterasu, who has the strongest physical attack, is indeed terrifying. Next, Chen used Yongdun, intending to inject Yongdun into Amaterasu. However, Chen felt a great difficulty. Amaterasu and Yongdun are two very strong forces. As the saying goes, one mountain cannot tolerate two tigers. How can it be so easy to combine the two? Chen tried several times, but all failed. Instead, he felt that his pupil power was consumed a lot, and even his body was drenched in cold sweat. Sure enough, the difficulty is really not that big. Chen felt that the consumption was quite intense, and immediately rested for a while. The difficulty of developing this new ninjutsu is still beyond Chen's imagination, but it is also foreseeable that once the development is successful, the power will be astonishing. For the next few days, Chen was immersed in the world of ninjutsu and studied. Chen suddenly discovered that although specializing in ninjutsu is boring, it is actually a very interesting thing. There is an indescribable sense of achievement, especially when overcoming each problem. No wonder Orochimaru became so interested in ninjutsu. But Chen didn't intend to be so fascinated, all he wanted was to develop the power of the fusion of Amaterasu and Yongdun. For several days, Chen was immersed in the development of this ninjutsu. The development of this ninjutsu is very difficult, but Chen is not nothing. Chen has realized that it is very difficult to let Yongdun and Amaterasu produce nature transformation, but it is much easier to use Yongdun to control Amaterasu to produce morphological transformation. In other words, although it can't make Yongdun and Amaterasu produce nature transformation. But to control Amaterasu, form changes, just like the ability of the original Sasuke to add earth life, Chen can still do it. This discovery surprised Chen. Sure enough, everything with earth life and so on is a floating cloud. The effect of Yongdun is too great. Ask for a reward, ask for a monthly ticket. 165 Geniuses of Light, Ino Shikacho on the battlefield. Yin-Yang escape. At this moment, Chen is extremely fortunate to have the existence of the Six Paths Old Man. Thanks to the Six Paths Old Man who taught him the Yin and Yang escape, the Yin and Yang escape can not only relieve the hidden danger of Sharingan, but also bring him a completely different power. Especially Yongdun, let Chen have a strong resilience and physical strength. If not relying on Yongdun, Chen has been in great danger in the battlefield several times. And now, Chen has discovered a great function of Yongdun, that is, it can control Amaterasu's morphological changes. Chen, who has been a master for a while, finally discovered this feature. Yongdun cooperated with Amaterasu and used Yongdun's ability to change Amaterasu's form. In this way, the power of Master Chen's Amaterasu will be greatly enhanced, and the flexibility will be enhanced. Of course, everything has pros and cons. Although Yongdun can change the form of Amaterasu, there is also a problem, that is, it consumes more chakra, and Chen can't use it multiple times. Finally, the shape change between Master Yangdun and Amaterasu is reluctant, but nature transformation is too difficult, and it's definitely not an overnight thing. It's really not easy to develop ninjutsu, no wonder the nature transformation that Minato developed for Rasengan never developed. Chen secretly said, and sighed. Even with Minato's talent, the development of Rasengan nature transformation was fruitless, which is enough to show the difficulty of developing ninjutsu. Thinking of this, Chen actually admires Senju Tobarama and Orochimaru, the two scientists in the Hokage world. Both of them are crazy people who develop and research ninjutsu. The old man of six paths saw Chen Bu, and thought that this guy was a little depressed because he couldn't develop new ninjutsu, so he comforted him and said, "The nature transformation between Yongdun and Amaterasu is very difficult, master, you haven't had it for a while. The harvest couldn't be more normal." "I know, old man, I'm not that fragile yet." Shrugged, but the change in Master Amaterasu's form was actually beyond Tatsu's expectations. "The nature transformation of Yongdun and Amaterasu, I really can't be in a hurry." When the Six Paths old man saw Chen say this, he was also slightly relieved, and nodded secretly. Sometimes this kid really gives old Six Paths a little monster feeling. Chen studied for a while using Yongdun to control Amaterasu's form changes, and finally mastered it. Relief and returned to the base in a good mood. The ninjas around Konoha looked at Chen with awe, and greeted Chen respectfully. Today, the status of Chen is really completely different from before. Before that, Chen was only a genius of Konoha, just a star of tomorrow. To put it bluntly, although the potential is huge, it is the future after all. After Chen killed Shiraito, it was enough to prove that his strength has reached the level of killing cage-level powerhouses. Although Shiraito is weak among cage-level powerhouses, he is a powerhouse. Knowing Chen's record, the ninjas in the stronghold respected Chen, and their status skyrocketed, approaching Sannin. If it weren't for the fact that Sannin was a direct disciple of the third generation of Hokage and had always been respected, I'm afraid Chen's prestige would be even higher at this time. After all, Chen's age is too impressive. "Master Chen." All the ninjas saluted Chen without any disrespect. Chen nodded slightly, smiled and left. And those ninjas were relieved, and when Chen's back disappeared, they said one by one, "It's really strange, although Lord Chen is approachable, I always feel a fierce momentum." "Yes, I have this feeling too. Lord Chen's majesty has become stronger and stronger recently. I thought it was my illusion, but everyone felt it, and I almost didn't dare to speak just now." These Konoha ninjas said one after another. What they didn't know was that after Chen opened Mangekyo Sharingan, his temperament really changed. His aura was even more aggressive, even these ordinary Konoha ninjas could feel it. After Chen arrived at the stronghold, he unexpectedly found that there was a commotion in the stronghold, and at the same time, Chen unexpectedly saw a few acquaintances. Akamichi Choza, Yamanaka Inoichi, Nara Shikaku. This generation of Ino Shikacho, Akamichi Choza and Chen are all outstanding talents in the same period, and the three of them have been on the battlefield for more than a year. This is the first time Chen has met to Akamichi Choza Trio 3. But before that, Chen had occasionally heard the names of the three of them, and knew that they were gradually rising on the battlefield. Chen. Akamichi Choza was very excited when he saw Chen, dragged his fat body and trotted in front of Chen for a while, hugged with Chen, and laughed straightly. "You are really amazing now, your name is being chanted everywhere on the entire battlefield." Among the three Ino Shikacho, Akamichi Choza has the best relationship with Chen. "Ah, Choza, you haven't seen him for a year and you've gained weight." Chen rode. Akamichi Choza's mouth twitched and his face was ugly. "Can you not bring up this sad topic?" Yamanaka Inoichi and Nara Shikaku were both holding back their smiles, and the two also came up to say hello to Tatsu. Chen smiled and said, "I also heard your names during this time. I heard that you killed several Jonin on the battlefield. You have a good record." Ino Shikacho is also very talented, especially Nara Shikaku. The secret techniques of the three Ino Shikacho 3 are extraordinary. The three of them work together, and they can even fight against the elite Jonin. Of course, it's just a war. Hehe, it's mainly Shikaku's plan, we just need to cooperate. Akamichi Choza laughed. Chen chuckled and glanced at the Ino Shikacho trio. In today's battlefield, more and more people join, more and more talents shine. Ino Shikacho is one of them. Chen looked at Akamichi Cho's trio of three, and there was a smile on the corner of his mouth. This is interesting. This is the real second ninja war. Countless geniuses rise together, and the war is raging. War has catalyzed countless geniuses and formed the most exciting ninja world. This kind of ninja world is interesting. Master Chen, Master Tsunade asked you to go to the meeting room. While thinking about it, a chunin of Konoha trotted over to deliver the message. 166 Four-tailed Jinchuriki Column Force. Hearing this chunin's report, Chen frowned slightly and nodded, I see. Chen felt a little strange. Why Tsunade and the others suddenly asked him to discuss matters, but when he thought of Sunagakure and Iwagakure, his heart was like a mirror. What's the matter with Chen? Akamichi Choza. All three looked at Chen, while Nara Shikaku looked thoughtful and seemed to have vaguely known. Chen smiled. The reason why Akamichi Choza 3 appeared in this stronghold is because Iwagakure and Sunagakure were united, and Konoha had some tendency to not support it, so they recruited people, and Akamichi Choza 3 was among them. Chen Qing smiled and said, I'll tell you the specific things later, I'll go to the council room first. No problem. Saying goodbye to the three Akamichi Choza for a while, Chen went directly to the council hall, entered and saw that Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya had been waiting for a long time. Tsunade's trio's expressions were somewhat solemn. Chen saw the difference in the situation and frowned. It seems that Iwagakure and Sunagakure have moved. What is the specific news? Only Iwagakure and Sunagakure's big moves can make Tsunade's trio stand out. Tsunade looked at Chen. You guessed it, it's really a big move by Iwagakure and Sunagakure. We got reliable information, and the fact that you killed Shirito spread to the village of Iwagakure, and the third generation Tsuchikage was furious and hated you very much. 3 generations of Tsuchikage. Chen pondered the name, and the 2-day scale Onoki is indeed a very scary opponent. He has the bloodstain to eliminate Jinten particle style, and he is also a senior cage-level powerhouse, even in the 4th Ninja War in the future. And it is absolutely impossible to ignore. Could it be that the 3rd generation of Tsuchikage is going to the battlefield? Chen pouted. 3rd generation Tsuchikage is strong. As long as the 3rd generation Tsuchikage does not enter the battlefield, there is nothing he can do to him. I heard that the 3rd generation of Tsuchikage really had this idea, but it was discouraged by the top of Tsuchikage. This time Shirito died. His rage was strong. You have to be careful of him in the future. Tsunade said with concern. Well, Shirito's death has a great impact on Iwagakure's top management. Iwagakure has decided to truly unite with Sunagakure. According to our information, the two sides are preparing to send high-level talks in the near future, intending to completely unite against us. Tsunade said something that made Tatsuya look solemn. The thing that Chen was most worried about finally happened. This time Konoha's victory, on the contrary, prompted Iwagakure and Sunagakure to unite. Perhaps both Iwagakure and Sunagakure realize that Konoha is a hard bone. Konoha is also the country with the most obvious advantage among the 3 major countries, so this makes Iwagakure and Sunagakure tacit. All pointed their finger at Konoha. Chen was not surprised by this. Among the ninja powers, only interests are eternal. Although there were many frictions between Iwagakure and Sunagakure before, they were all clouds in front of their interests. In this way, we will be in big trouble. Daimaru is low, and his eyes are even more gloomy. Face the 2 great powers at one time, even we are very difficult. Chen squinted his eyes and said lightly, since it's the case, it would be good for them not to be able to form an alliance. Tsunade and Jiraiya are big. Shiwan suddenly raised her head to look at Chen. Chen smiled and said, since Iwagakure and Sunagakure's high-level officials are going to have joint talks, they always have to send people out for talks. I don't know who Iwagakure sent this time. As far as I know, he is a master in Iwagakure village, nicknamed Old Purple. one of the cage-level powerhouses in Iwagakure village, and also has the identity of the four-tailed Jinchuriki column force. Tsunade explained seriously. Four-tailed Jinchuriki column force. Chen's heart moved, but he remembered this character in the original book. This old purple was a character from the same period as the third generation of Tsuchikage. Later, it seems that he left Iwagakure village because of disagreement with the third generation of Tsuchikage. In the original book, Laozi once fought with the ghost shark, but in the end, he was cleaned up by the ghost shark and successfully captured. But even so, as a four-tailed Jinchuriki column force, he must not be underestimated. After all, the strength of the ghost shark is obvious to all, and even the eight tails almost lost to the ghost shark. It's actually the Jinchuriki column power of the four-tailed people. I almost forgot that there are people in the country who have the power of Jinchuriki column. After all, Iwagakure is a big country, and its strength should not be underestimated. Chen sighed with emotion. However, the name of the four tails makes Chen unable to complain, but he is actually called Sun Wukong, the king of monkeys, and can control magma. The Sunagakure village is headed by Chiyo. I heard that some experts have been dispatched, and they also attach great importance to the alliance with Iwagakure. Chen nodded, indicating that he understood the situation, and immediately said with a smile, "The four-tailed Jinchuriki column sent by Iwagakure village will give me the power to deal with it." How? What? The three Tsunade three all looked at Chen at the same time. Chen smiled and said, "I didn't say it before, Iwagakure handed it to me to deal with. Since Iwagakure and Sunagakure want to talk and cooperate, I will kill them on the way." Intercept. Chen actually hit this idea. But it is also normal. It seems that this is the best way at the moment. Before the joint talks between Iwagakure and Sunagakure start, they will be strangled in the cradle. But Iwagakure and Sunagakure are two parties. Too much power. Orochimaru agreed with Tatsuya's words, but pondered. Chen shrugged. "That's why I said that Iwagakure village is handed over to me, and the four-tailed Jinchuriki column force is handed over to me, and I just want to try to fight against the Jinchuriki column force." "No, you are too dangerous alone." Tsunade refused immediately. Meimu looked at Chen firmly. "I'll go with you." Tsunade was so firm, and the way Chen looked with his beautiful eyes without blinking made Chen extremely warm. Chen was about to say something, but Tsunade took the initiative to hold Chen's hand, his attitude still firm. Tsunade has only experienced the pain of losing his younger brother and no longer wants to lose his lover. "Well, Tsunade, you and Tatsu go to deal with Iwagakure, Orochimaru and I deal with Sunagakure. How about destroying the joint plan between the two countries this time?" Jiraiya thought for a while and came up with a compromise. "And Tsunade against Iwagakure together is a good idea." Chen had no objection and agreed. Ask for reward. 167 Chen is indeed a winner in life. To deal with Iwagakure with Tsunade. Tsunade then relaxed and let Tatsuya face Iwagakure, including the four-tailed Jinchuriki column force. She was not at ease. Four tails. At this time, the voice of the old man Six Paths came. The Six Paths immortal pondered, and did not expect to hear the news of the four tails, which surprised the Six Paths old man. The Six Paths immortal, as the first 10 tails person, Jinchuriki column force, was the one who divided the 10 tails into 9, and the 4 tails, of course, he was all too familiar with. Chen ignored the contemplative old Six Paths, and turned his eyes to Orochimaru and Jiraiya. "If you two plan to take ninjas, I will recommend someone to you." Recommend a person. Jiraiya looked at Chen curiously. Chen smiled. "Nara Shikaku of the Nara family should help you on the battlefield." Chen has no doubts about Nara Shikaku. SIQ. Nara Shikaku is the future strategist of Konoha and the right-hand man of Hokage. Ino Shikacho has a good relationship with Chen, and so does Nara Shikaku. Nara Shikaku also respects Chen very much, and Chen doesn't mind helping him. The Nara clan, I know. Jiraiya nodded. The person recommended by Chen must have something special. Well, then it's decided. Chen said lightly. Neither Orochimaru nor Jiraiya objected, and both nodded slightly. The four of them spread out, and Chen and Tsunade were side by side. This time with Iwagakure, I want to test my strengths. When the time comes, I will take action against Iwagakure, so you can just watch from the sidelines. Chen suddenly said. Iwagakure alone to test the extent of his own strength. You. Tsunade looked at Chen, and although he was a little worried, he saw Chen's firm gaze and finally said, I see. Tsunade is also a legendary female ninja in Hokage. After hearing Tatsu's words, he agreed with a little hesitation. Now Chen, with Mangekyo Sharingan, is strong enough to protect himself in most cases. Chen was stunned for a moment, turned his head to look, and saw the three of Ino Shikacho staring at Chen and Tsunade in stunned eyes. The three of Ino Shikacho were indeed stunned. They had just seen the scene where Chen was hugging Tsunade, and they were very sure of the close relationship between Chen and Tsunade. Akamichi Choza, Yamanaka Inoichi, and Nara Shikaku all widened their eyes, opened their mouths, and had no idea what to say. Are you kidding me? When the relationship between Chen and Tsunade-sama became so close? They are not masters and disciples. This Akamichi Choza's mind was in a mess, and when he spoke, he stared blankly at Chen. Chen Yi was speechless. These three super large light bulbs really had no consciousness at all. Tsunade was caught by the three of them and saw the intimacy between her and Tatsu. At first, she was a little shy, but gradually she looked as usual. Tsunade is Tsunade after all. But despite this, Tsunade was stared at by the three of Ino Shikacho, and only felt his face warm slightly, and said, you guys talk, I'll go first. While talking, Tsunade left as if running away. Tsunade's shadow is gone, and the three Ino Shikacho three still maintain their stunned state just now. No way, the impact on the relationship between Tsunade and Tatsu was too shocking. Chen, you were really with Tsunade-sama. After Tsunade left, Akamichi Choza asked cautiously with his eyes wide open and his voice dry. This guy, Akamichi Choza, can't even speak. Chen secretly slandered and said, yes, it's exactly what you think. It's true. Akamichi Choza wailed. How is it possible? Tsunade-sama is the idol of countless ninjas, and one of the Sanins recognized by the demigods and Hanzo himself. Tsunade-sama is such a proud female ninja, how can he be with you? Hearing Akamichi Choza's words, the corners of Chen's mouth twitched. How could he be with him? Is he bad? Akamichi Choza also realized the slip of the tongue, smirked and hurriedly said, I mean, you already have Makoto and Kushina. Chen, your peach blossom luck is too enviable. Chen shrugged and said deliberately, I also wonder why Tsunade likes me, probably because I'm handsome. PFF'd. This sentence almost made the three of Ino Shikacho vomit blood with anger, and Akamichi Choza looked at Chen with a look of grief and indignation, as if Chen had done something to him. Chen is also a little proud. In the eyes of many people, Tsunade, who is a Senju clan, is also a direct disciple of the three generations of Hokage, and is one of the Konoha Sannin that Hanzo personally admits. Such a female ninja can fall in love with himself, it is indeed a kind of lucky. Okay, keep quiet about me and Tsunade. Also Shikaku, I recommended you to Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Chen briefly explained the situation, and Nara Shikaku looked at Chen with gratitude. Chen recommended him to the battlefield, which was also a great experience for Shikaku. Nara Shikaku looked at Tatsu with gratitude, and Yamanaka Inoichi and Akamichi Choza also looked at Nara Shikaku with some envy. I'm leaving now to prepare for the next deal with Iwagakure. Chen chatted for a few more words, and then said with a smile. The three Ino Shikacho all nodded in understanding, and looking at Tatsu's back, Akamichi Choza muttered with admiration. God, Makoto and Kushina first, now even Tsunade and Tatsu are the same. This kind of relationship, Chen, this guy is really a winner in life. This time, Nara Shikaku and Yamanaka Inoichi nodded without hesitation, and even they were very envious of Tatsuya. Ask for a monthly pass, ask for a reward, thank you for your support. 168 Chen's Ambush Four Tails Plan. Sanin discussed, it was decided that Tatsu and Tsunade would deal with the four-tailed Jinchuriki, column force, while Orochimaru and Jiraiya teamed up against Sunagakure village. Now that you've made a decision, it's easy to do. A group of sentient ninjas have been dispatched to the stronghold to closely monitor the movements of both Iwagakure and Sunagakure for action. And Chen has always been adapting to his own Sharingan, ready to deal with the next four-tailed Jinchuriki column force. Four-tailed Jinchuriki column power Laozi. Since as a human Jinchuriki column power, the strength must be cage level. And I heard that the Jinchuriki column force of the four-tailed person fits well with the four-tailed, and can use many of the four-tailed abilities, so Chen will not underestimate it. There are four-tailed and five-tailed two-tailed beasts in Iwagakure village, and it was the original Hokage Senju Hashirama of Konoha who assigned them to Iwagakure village. Chen couldn't help but pouted. Senju Hashirama is also actually assigned to other village-tailed beasts. Really is a pure pacifist. I really don't know what to think. After deciding to deal with the four tails, Chen continued to practice. In fact, if there is no Mangekyo Sharingan, Chen's current strength is only equivalent to Quenying. He can only compete with the cage-level powerhouses after opening his eyes, so this also makes Chen realize his own shortcomings, and has been practicing hard recently. Tsunade naturally acted as Chen's sparring partner, and when the two of them had a strong relationship, they cooperated very well with each other. So it's been fighting all this time. Tsunade was impressed by Chen's progress in strength. At this moment, Chen's strength was enough to compete with Sanin. Of course, the final result is hard to say. Although Chen has Mangekyo Sharingan, Sanin also has great strength and means. Tsunade Trio 3 has a subtle connection with Mount Myoboku and other three mysterious holy places in the ninja world, especially Jiraiya. From the original work, Jiraiya has been practicing sage art on Mount Myoboku since he was a child, and he must have a whole card. Of course, Chen also has such things as trump cards. Chen and Tsunade fought, both were sweating profusely, and Conan was the only spectator of the two, clapping and applauding. Brother Chen is getting better and better. Chen smiled and stood side by side with Tsunade. Both of them were sweating profusely, obviously they had consumed a lot just now. Tsunade saw the sweat on Chen's face, but he gently wiped the sweat off Chen's face, and Chen felt a burst of satisfaction in his heart. When Conan saw this scene, he pouted, as if he was a little jealous, and Chen couldn't help but smile. This little girl, she actually knows how to eat Tsunade's vinegar. Seeing this scene, Tsunade rolled his eyes at Chen with a little anger. This guy, Conan, was so young that he didn't let it go. It was a big change. The poor Chen still doesn't know what Tsunade is thinking, otherwise, he will definitely be wronged. Next we are facing the Jinchuriki column force of the four-tailed man, which is a collection of a large number of chakras and has extremely strong combat power. Do we need to formulate a combat strategy? Tsunade asked proactively. Chen smiled. No, I have a way. Tsunade was stunned, seeing Chen's slightly mysterious smile, and he was both surprised and expectant. No doubt about the power of the tailed beast, and the four-tailed man must be a very strong ninja, but Chen is very confident. Makes Tsunade curious about Tatsu's next move. And Tsunade restore the chakra and keep a close eye on the situation in the village of Iwagakure. Finally, on the afternoon of the next day, a Konoha sentient ninja received important news. Tsunade-sama, Tatsu-sama, there is confidential information about Iwagakure. A communication ninja sent the information, all of which were densely encrypted characters, which only Tsunade, Chen and others could decipher. Chen took the information, took a rough look, and his eyes lit up. Iwagakure has moved, they are going to talk with the Sunagakure alliance. Who is the other side? Same as our previous information, headed by the four-tailed Jinchuriki column Li Laozi, and a team of one elite ninja. The number is not very large, within 20 people. After all, it's a meeting, it's definitely not going to bring too many ninjas, and it's not a war. Chen got the information, he found the map, took a closer look, and thought, according to our information, Iwagakure is going to talk with the Sunagakure Alliance, and there is a road that Iwagakure must take, near the Shangshui River. Shangshui River, a famous river in the Land of Rain. At present, Iwagakure's sphere of influence in the Land of Rain is basically west of the Shangshui River, so Iwagakure has to talk with Sunagakure, and the Shangshui River is the only way to go. Then we will ambush near the Shangshui River. Tsunade concluded. Well, that's it. Was a smile on the corner of Chen's mouth, and he couldn't wait. The four-tailed Jinchuriki column force, or the first person Chen has faced since he came to this world, Chen, of course, has some expectations. What's more, this time it is related to whether Iwagakure and Sunagakure can unite, which must be stopped no matter what. After getting the information, both Tatsu and Tsunade began to prepare intensively. At the same time, Jiraiya and Orochimaru are also preparing to deal with Sunagakure, and the two sides act separately. Jiraiya and Orochimaru follow Chen's advice and bring Nara Shikaku along with 50 elite ninjas. Chen and Orochimaru, Jiraiya split up. The four of them gathered together. Chen looked at Orochimaru and Jiraiya who were waiting for them, smiled and said, "You two should not be taken advantage of by Sunagakure, act carefully." Jiraiya glanced at Chen dissatisfied after hearing the words, and said angrily, "Don't underestimate us, it's Chenyu and Tsunade, only the two of you are sure to be fine. What do you know, we call it a match between men and women, and it's not tiring to work." Chen rode. Jiraiya was speechless, but Tsunade glared at Chen with a Yuhi expression on his face. "Why don't we make a bet to see who ends the fight first?" Orochimaru and Jiraiya were a little unconvinced. Chen smiled. Jiraiya and Orochimaru looked at each other. They didn't believe that Tatsu and Tsunade could solve the battle faster than them. Jiraiya immediately said unconvinced. "Comparison, bet what?" 169 Chen who has no plans, for automatic, for reward. When he mentioned gambling, Tsunade's beautiful eyes lit up, and his whole person changed. It was different. Tsunade snorted softly. "Of course it's gambling, Jiraiya. I heard that you made a lot of money by writing novels, so let's gamble. How about a bet?" To gambling, Tsunade's mood is very different. Jiraiya and Orochimaru looked at each other and felt that the bet would never be lost. They had more than 50 elite ninjas on their side, and the two of them would definitely have an advantage over Chen and Tsunade. "Gamble for money, I'll give you 3 million. Jiraiya said with confidence. 3 million. A smile appeared on Tsunade's mouth. "I will also give out 3 million. Then together." Chen didn't hesitate, and he had a lot of savings. In the past few years, Konoha gave him a lot of rewards for doing missions on the battlefield. Orochimaru also participated in the bet, and after the four agreed, they went their separate ways. There are only two people, Chen and Tsunade, so it is easy to travel lightly, as long as they go to the Shangshui River to ambush, but the two of them are not in a hurry, they stroll slowly and leisurely in the rain, and they don't have any mood. "Chen, you are so confident in dealing with the four tails." Tsunade looked at Shang Chen and chatted with him. "Aren't you more confident in me? You just made a bet and took out 3 million without hesitation." Chen smiled and took Tsunade's little hand naturally. Tsunade's face turned to Yuhi. He let Chen move without refuting Chen's words, and said with a smile, "I do have confidence in you." Chen smiled, and suddenly seemed to feel something, frowned slightly, and immediately smiled again. "Boy, there is a white snake not far behind you." The reminder of the old man of 6 paths sounded at the right time. It is estimated that it is something that Orochimaru, one of the Sannin, channeled out of, "This white snake has been, follow you." Gleam in Chen's eyes, and he said, "I know, I feel it too." Chen was still very vigilant, and felt an unusual chakra just now. Sharingan's insight is not as good as Byakugan's. About 50 meters behind Tatsu and Tsunade, there was a white snake about the length of an arm, swallowing its core, and following Tatsu and Tsunade, it was the white snake of Orochimaru. Chen also knew very well why this white snake appeared behind him and Tsunade, 80% of which was Orochimaru used to monitor the actions of Chen and Tsunade. Well, to be precise, it should be used to monitor Chen. Obviously, Orochimaru is very interested in Chen's pair of Sharingan now, so Orochimaru is also very curious about what kind of strength Chen has, so he channeled a white snake to monitor Chen's actions. It turns out that you noticed it too, that's your heart. Immortal Six Paths was a little surprised. Chen really made rapid progress, and he no longer needed him to remind him of many dangers. Thank you, old man. Chen exchanged a sentence with Six Paths and narrowed his eyes at the same time. Shimaru sent the white snake to monitor him. Chen Yi simply took the plan. Let Orochimaru see the strength. Let Orochimaru be honest, lest Orochimaru want to attack him again. Chen pretended not to notice the existence of the white snake, and went to Shangshui River with Tsunade. The Shangshui River is not far from the Konoha stronghold, and it took the two of them almost half a day to travel. The time has come. In the sky, it gradually changed from light rain to downpour, and the torrential rain was more able to cover up the smell of Chen and Tsunade, but it was also easy to hide. Chen and Tsunade found an excellent ambush location, hid, restrained chakra, and waited for Laozi and his ninja team from Iwagakure village. Chen and Tsunade hid together. Their bodies were close to each other. Chen could clearly smell the fragrance of Tsunade's body, but he was in a good mood, and felt that the waiting time was not so boring. Shangshui River is a famous big river in the land of rain. The river surface is dozens of meters wide. The river flows and makes a rumbling sound, which is amazing. Rained heavily and the river galloped, forming a spectacular scene. After waiting for about 2 hours, a figure finally appeared in front of him. Chen and Tsunade were refreshed, and they both stared at the front, paying attention to every move. Front is a ninja team, with a total of 13 members, fully exposed under the Sharingan of Chen. The leader is a ninja with fire Yuhi hair, an iron mask, and a purple robe. It is the four-tailed Jinchuriki, column force old purple. Laozi, there are 2 peak Jonins on the left and the right, followed by 10 elite Jonins, forming a team of 13 people. Here, it's really the four-tailed Jinchuriki, column Li Laozi from Iwagakure village. Tsunade whispered. Chen nodded and became more focused. Sir, we have arrived at Shangshui River. A pinnacle Jonin next to him reminded that this pinnacle Jonin looked like a sentient ninja. Laozi nodded slowly, but his expression was very relaxed. Well, this time our task is very simple. We only need to sign an alliance agreement with Sunagakure, and the third-generation Tsuchikage has already arranged everything. Several ninjas around nodded, but Jonin, the peak, reminded, My lord, Konoha is only afraid of being aware of it. Maybe it will be prepared, we must take precautions. Is it? Laozi pouted and said disapprovingly, I still want the people from Konoha to appear, but Shirito was killed by that kid named Uchiha Chen, but I want to see how strong that kid is. Iwagakure next to him opened his mouth, and when he saw Laozi mention Chen's name, he was a little apprehensive and uneasy, but thinking of Laozi's strength in front of him, he gradually felt relieved. In Laozi's opinion, although Shirito is strong, he is just an ordinary cage-level powerhouse. It can even be said that he is the weakest in cage level. If he can kill Shirito, it may not be considered very powerful. Laozi shook his head lightly and said, It is said that Uchiha Chen is not only a great talent, but also a master planner. I don't think so. If I were Uchiha Chen, I would definitely set up an ambush near the Shangshui River to catch us off guard. The Iwagakure nodded and said to themselves, Old Z-sama is right, it seems that the so-called Uchiha Chen is just like that. Who would have thought that as soon as Laozi's voice fell, a figure appeared. Old Z of Iwagakure village, as you wish, I am here to ambush you. Chen chuckled lightly, and the voice sounded. The complexion of Laozi changed, and the expressions of all the dozen or so ninjas around them changed drastically. Their faces gradually darkened, and the corners of their mouths twitched. You are making fun of me, but there is really an ambush. 170 seconds to be slapped in the face. Please ask for monthly pass. In the blink of an eye, Chen walked out of the grass, and with a flash, he used the telekinesis technique to arrive in front of Laozi and other Iwagakure team. Laozi just boasted about Heiko, saying that Chen is not as good as you, if he would set up an ambush here. Chen appeared immediately at this time, and it was like hitting Laozi in the face. He was slapped in the face in seconds. The corners of Laozi's mouth twitched, and his face turned black, very embarrassing. When the other Iwagakure ninjas saw Chen's appearance, they also took a step back subconsciously and looked at Chen with some horror. Chen's fame these days is really too great, especially among Iwagakure. Almost everyone is not afraid of Chen. After all, even Shiraito died in the hands of Chen, that is the commander-in-chief of Iwagakure's blasting force. Almost all the ninjas of Iwagakure have only the same mentality towards Chen, they are angry and afraid. They are all very angry with Chen and hate Chen's actions, but when they really face Chen, they are still extremely frightened. These Iwagakure also glanced at Laozi subconsciously, and a thought appeared in their hearts. This lord is really a crow's mouth, just said Uchiha Chen. Uchiha Chen arrived immediately. Laozi's face was blue and white for a while, becoming more and more embarrassed. Tsunade, who was hiding in the bushes, couldn't help but smile when he saw this. Tsunade didn't shoot, just hid and watched. Of course, if Chen has any accident, she will act immediately without hesitation. Jinchuriki column force of the four-tailed man of Iwagakure village. Chen looked at Laozi. Sharingan, S3 Tomo clearly showed. His eyes became a piece of blood Yuhi. Seeing Chen's Sharingan, these Iwagakure were startled again, and subconsciously took a step back, not daring to look at Chen's Sharingan. Sharingan, S prestige, along with Chen's name and achievements, spread all over the battlefield of the Land of Rain. The Uchiha family is a famous Konoha family, and the Sharingan is also scary and known by many people. These Iwagakure were frightened in their hearts, and even their movements were subconsciously sluggish. Laozi responded quickly. He said solemnly, "Humph, is this the Sharingan of the Uchiha family? You all back up, don't look into his eyes, I want to see if Konoha's Starlight is worthy of the name." Yes. Hearing Laozi's words, Iwagakure's ninjas all retreated within a range of about tens of meters, stood far away, and did not participate in the battle. Reason is also very simple. It is difficult for them to intervene in a battle of this level of Chen and Laozi. The two peak Jonin are not bad, the elite Jonin intervenes in the battle, which has little effect. As this Uchiha Chen, you are young, and you are not even 13 years old. It's scary to have such achievements at this age. Among them, Iwagakure was the first time I met, and felt a burst of pressure, and muttered. Yeah, the genius ninja of the Uchiha clan, even Shiraito-sama, don't destroy your prestige. I believe that old Z-sama will be able to deal with it, he is the Jinchuriki column power of the tailed beast. Jonin, the pinnacle of Iwagakure, scolds. You've stepped back too close, go one step further. Retreat hundreds of meters away to avoid being affected by this battle. Old Purple glanced at the Iwagakure. Said coldly. The Iwagakure sighed in their hearts, knowing that the next big scene was going to be absolutely huge, and they all hurriedly followed their words and retreated a few hundred meters away, standing on the trees, only watching the battle from afar. Oh, you actually made them retreat 100 meters. It seems that you intend to use the power of the tailed beast. Chen looked at Laozi with a hint of fear in his eyes. The four-tailed Jinchuriki column force is indeed a terrible opponent, but it is also used to measure his current strength. Laozi looked at Chen coldly. Of course I plan to use the power of the tailed beast. Uchiha Chen, I really don't know if you are daring or reckless, but you dare to come and deal with me alone. It seems that Konoha is going to lose a peerless genius today. Laozi's tone was cold and full of threats. Since he let Iwagakure retreat 100 meters, it means that he attaches great importance to Chen and plans to use the power of the tailed beast. The power of the tailed beast has powerful destructive power, which will cause huge damage and spread. Hearing Lao Zi's threat, Chen smiled. Many people said they wanted to kill me, but unfortunately they all failed. Yeah, it looks like I'll be the first. Lao Zi is not an easy person either, he sneered and prepared to do it. Chen and Lao Zi were standing on the surging Shangshui River. The sky was pouring rain, hayate showers, strong winds, hunting sounds. It seems that the next battle is about to break out. Strong winds, heavy rain, rivers. This kind of combat environment is extremely harsh, but it is also thrilling enough. This is Chen's first time facing the force of Jinchuiki column, so Chen is also extra vigilant. Wind hit, rolling up countless rainwater, and even rolling up a stream of water on the surface of the Shangshui River. At this time, Chen and Lao Zi moved almost simultaneously. Yoden, lava style, lava eruption. At this time, Lao Zi opened his mouth and spit out, and the chakra of his whole body gushed out, and a force as hot as magma emerged, and the two chakras of earth and fire were mixed to form a powerful nature transformation. Chen Zhao was ready, secretly said, sure enough. Lao Zi is the Jinchuriki column power of the four-tailed man, and Yoden, lava style, is the unique power of the four-tailed monkey king, which was lent to Naruto to deal with Uchiha Madara in the original work. So Chen has long guessed that Lao Zi may be Yoden, lava style, and has been on guard. Yoden, lava style, belongs to the Kekkei Genkai formed by the nature transformation of fire and earth chakras. Like Hyoten, ice style, of Bai and Mokuden, wood style, of Senju Hashirama, they are composed of two types of chakras with different attributes. Nature transformation. I only saw a burst of magma erupting, just like a magma eruption. The fiery yuhi-colored lava spewed out and hit Chen. It's the unique Yoden, lava style, of Lao Zi-sama. Iwagakure's ninjas are all very exciting. In their eyes Yoden, lava style, is very strong, can burn everything, and is extremely scary. Since you use Yoden, lava style, I'll use Sharingan for it. Chen's voice came faintly, and the three tomo of Sharingan showed. Yoden, lava style, is Kekkei Genkai, and Tatsuya uses Kekkei Genkai to deal with. Exciting is coming, if you want to see the underlined version. 171 Kekkei Genkai's Kekkei Genkai. Yoden, lava style, erupted at an extremely fast speed, and the scorching magma erupted, rolling towards Chen. Magma is surging, hot and corrosive, as if it can dissolve everything in the world, and its power cannot be underestimated. That's why those Iwagakure are excited. In the eyes of the Iwagakure, with a strong Kekkei Genkai like Yoden, lava style, Lao Zi will not lose. The next scene made them stunned. They only saw Chen's figure flashing for a moment. It seemed that he had already noticed the trajectory of Yoden, lava style. On the water surface of Shuei, he easily avoided this blow. The technique of instant body. Chen has used Yang Dun's instant body technique to perfection. Even Yoden, lava style, cannot threaten Chen. Chi-chi. Accompanied by a violent chi-chi sound, only Yoden, lava style, was seen spewing on the surface of this roaring river. The river water evaporated, and almost half of it was burned dry almost instantly. The water flow seemed to be cut off, which was enough to see the blow. The power of Yoden, lava style. If you are poured on your body by such Yoden, lava style, I am afraid that you will turn into bones in an instant. Even Tsunade in the distance moved slightly. She could feel the danger in it, but she forcibly pressed it and didn't make a move. She chose to believe Chen. Yoden, lava style, encountered water flow, which made the surface of the Shangshui River more than 10 meters wide to transpiration. Most of the river water evaporated, and bursts of hot air came out, and even the rain in the sky also transpired. The power of Yoden, lava style, is on display. As expected of a human Jinchuriki column force, it's really convenient. Chen whispered to himself, the other party's Yoden, lava style, is indeed a bit difficult to deal with. Lao Zi also sneered, his eyes full of dread. HMPH, your Kekkei Genkei is not bad. As expected of a Sharingan, he can see my movements and make predictions in advance. Heavy rain and the confrontation between the two super strong men made everyone in Iwagakure village extremely nervous. In addition, the white snake channeled by Tsunade and Orochimaru also saw everything in their eyes. Far from the Konoha stronghold, Orochimaru saw the battle in his eyes and whispered to himself, Sharingan and Yoden lava style are both powerful Kekkei Genkei. I don't know which one is stronger. I am really looking forward to it. Ah. As Orochimaru said that, he licked his mouth, and his eyes showed anticipation. Raiden Thunder Style 16 Jinchuriki Column Binding Techniques. Chen suddenly quickly hand seal, chakra surging all over his body, and used a ninjutsu. 16 Jinchuriki Column Restraint Art is a Raiden Thunder Style ninjutsu used by Konoha Anbu ninja in the original work, which can release a powerful Raiden Thunder Style force to restrain the enemy. I only saw 16 sticks around. The giant stone Jinchuriki column bound Laozi from top to bottom. At the same time, thunder burst out, blue thunder and lightning burst out, and the violent thunder was deafening. Vast thunder and lightning attacked Laozi. Yoden lava style armor. Laozi was also taken aback by this powerful ninjutsu, and hurriedly used his own skill, using Yoden lava style armor. The so-called Yoden lava style armor is to attach a layer of Yoden lava style to his body, which makes his body have a strong defense, and at the same time, the high temperature of Yoden lava style can melt Joe's enemies, so this ninjutsu can be said to be both offensive and defensive, and it is a high-level ninjutsu that Laozi is proud of. Quote. Yoden lava style armor has appeared. It seems that the other party is really powerful. Laozi is very afraid of it. Nonsense, the other party is Uchiha Chen, can he be bad? I heard that Uchiha Chen's eyes can release black flames. I don't know if I can see it this time. Laozi used Yoden lava style armor, covering his body with a layer of deep Yuhi-colored lava armor to defend against Chen's Raiden Thunder style. His expression was also very solemn. You can use ninjutsu so skillfully at such a young age, no wonder Shiraito will be defeated by you. But your Sharingan demonic illusion may not be of much use to me, and my Grandmaster demonic illusion cracking won't be easily fooled. Old Z snorted coldly. Chen smiled nonchalantly. Chen didn't plan to play demonic illusion, he has other cards. The art of shadow clone. Between Chen hand and seal, several shadow clone appeared around him, and shadow clone began to release ninjutsu. A hurricane surged. Accompanied by the sound of ZZ cutting, Chen turned out to let Shadow Clone release the long-lost Rasenshuriken. It turned out to be Futon Wind-style fire, wind, thunder. You are a master of so many kinds of ninjutsu, you are truly a genius. Old Z's expression changed slightly again, he had already seen how powerful Chen's ninjutsu was. Futon Wind-style Rasenshuriken. Chen's Shadow Clone attacked Laozi. Laozi was alert, and instinctively wanted to dodge, but Chen relied on Sharingan to gain insight into Laozi's movements, and he also used ninjutsu, Raiden Thunder style Chidori Current. Chidori Current turned into a power grid, and headed towards Laozi. Laozi didn't notice for a while, and was instantly hit. Her body was numb, and her complexion changed. No, this kid's Raiden Thunder style can paralyze my body, and the next one. Ninjutsu, I'm afraid it will be difficult to escape. Laozi's body is paralyzed and difficult to avoid, so he can only reluctantly release Yoden lava style, the magic of melting monsters. A powerful magma spewed out towards Chen's shadow clone, but an astonishing scene appeared. Rasenshuriken's high-speed rotating wind attribute chakra resisted all the magma. Even the death of Yoden lava style did not let Rasenshuriken lose much of its power. Old Z's pupils shrank. This high-speed spinning chakra, this ninjutsu. Laozi sensed something was wrong, but it was too late. Chen's shadow clone has arrived in front of Laozi. Rasenshuriken exploded, the hurricane rolled up the wind, and countless tiny chakra blades attacked Old Z. Laozi can clearly feel that if he is hit by this blow, he will be seriously injured even if he does not die. This ninjutsu is very terrifying. The countless tiny chakra blades can only make people bruised, and even every cell will be severely injured. Damage. At this juncture of life and death, Lao Zi seemed to have exploded. With a roar, a strong chakra surged out of his body. This chakra impacted out, and even the water surface of Shangshui River made a loud noise, and the water surface exploded. Such a rise. The fire Yuhi-colored chakra burst out, making Chen look slightly moved, and finally appeared, the power of the four tails. 172 Susano. The power of the tailed beast was earth-shattering, breaking through with a bang, and attached to Lao Zi's body, which was shocking. The whole body is covered with a head coat, and the person looks like a small tailed beast. It is very terrifying. The exploding chakra rolls up, isolating the surrounding river water. This wide Shangshui River is directly cut into two by the chakra. Duan, powerful and terrifying. Between Chen and Lao Zi was called earth-shattering. The scope was huge, the river was cut off, and the momentum was majestic. It is also fortunate that the two of them started in such an open place, otherwise the damage caused would be unimaginable. This is the first form of the tail beast, the tail beast coat. Chen secretly said in his heart. The so-called tailed beast coat is based on the situation of the tailed beast chakra, such as the tailed beast coat used by Naruto and Sasuke in the Battle of the End Valley. This state, it is considered a relatively shallow master tailed beast power. Ah, boy, I'm going to tear you apart. Lao Zi got the power of the four-tailed ape, Sun Wukong, and his strength increased sharply. A tail appeared behind him, chakra soared, and his mood changed. Under the skyrocketing chakra, almost as if it were real, directly relying on the chakra of the tailed beast to form a layer of powerful chakra shield, which actually resisted the attack of Rasen Shuriken, the powerful chakra and Rasen Shuriken collided together, two violent chakras. The chakra powers cancelled each other out, actually resisting the power of Rasen Shuriken. Iwagakure onlookers changed, they were extremely horrified, and said to each other, "No, Uchiha Chen actually forced Lao Zi to use the tail beast transformation, and this matter is impossible to control." Yeah, Mr. Z is not proficient with the master of the tailed beast, and his emotions will be affected by the powerful and evil chakra of the tailed beast, and it will become tyrannical and uncontrollable. It will be really troublesome at that time. But then, Uchiha Chen will surely die. The Iwagakure were talking, and while they were nervous, they focused their attention on the battlefield, thinking that Chen must have lost. The power of the tailed beast, the Iwagakure have all heard of it, and subconsciously think that Chen will never win. Finally came out, this is the power of the tail beast, not bad. Chen is not in a hurry, he still has chakra and has a whole card. After Lao Zi was attached to the tail beast coat, his character also became violent and affected, he roared, "Tear you apart." Between the words, the chakra surged like a tide. Chakra pours out unscrupulously. This is the benefit of human Jinchuriki, column force, the amount of chakra is unimaginable. The tail formed by chakra chased towards Chen, and Chen used the instant body technique, his figure flashed instantly, and he quickly avoided it. And Lao Zi in the state of the tailed beast's coat, also has a huge power, making the surrounding turbulent ups and downs, like a stormy wave erupting everywhere. The entire Shangshui River made sounds under the battle between the two, and it couldn't resist the madness of the battle between the two at all. Tsunade's expression tightened, feeling a little worried about the tyrannical tailed beast chakra. And Orochimaru relies on the white snake to monitor all this, and Orochimaru, who is far away on the battlefield, is extremely shocked and muttered to himself. What a huge chakra, this is the power of the tailed beast, what method should Daochen use to resist? After Lao Zi used the tail beast coat, the chakra on his body erupted, attacking Chen one after another, and Chen Yun resisted with the technique of instant body. Lao Zi's attack power is very strong in the state of the tailed beast. As long as Chen is hit a little, his life may be in danger at any time. The successive attacks missed. Lao Zi roared, as if provoked, and changed again in the state of the tailed beast, only to see a layer of deep Yuhi color all over his body, and his heart-palpitating power was even more surging out. Old Z's whole body glowed a deep beauty color, and the chakra was even more condensed. Chen's pupils shrank. Tailed Beast Form 2-2. There are 3 forms of the Tail Beast. The first form is the appearance of the Tail Beast's coat. The second form is a layer of deep beauty-colored dense chakra covering the whole body, and Naruto once used this form to deal with Orochimaru. The third form of the tailed beast is a complete tailed beast, turning into the appearance of a tailed beast. The tailed beast form 22 is more terrifying than the state of the tailed beast coat. It has been able to release tailed beast bomb, and its destructive power is terrifying. At this time, Laozi was in this state. His sanity had gradually lost, and he only maintained the last bit of calm, almost in a state of berserk. Of course, according to the situation, Laozi's control of the tailed beast is not bad, much stronger than Naruto's control in the early stage in the original work, so even in the case of the tailed beast form 22, although Laozi was furious, he still maintained his control. Part of his rationality, he just frantically attacked Chen. Tear you, tear you. Laozi was drinking wildly, his tail stretched out as an attacking weapon, and he kept attacking Chen. Suddenly, Laozi's tail stretched out and grabbed Chen violently, completely besieging Chen, and he was about to catch Chen. The huge chakra power is palpitating, and even Chen feels an indescribable danger. If caught by this blow, Chen will be seriously injured even if he does not die. Caught and crushed you. Old Z was drinking. Iwagakure in the distance was also full of joy and ecstasy. Tsunade, on the other hand, was so worried that he couldn't hold back and wanted to move. At this moment, Chen's whole body was surging with a golden light. A powerful chakra that was not inferior to the old purple erupted, and the golden light shot up into the sky, stunned Tsunade, Iwagakure, and Orochimaru, who observed Chen through the white snake. What's the situation? The Iwagakure's expressions were astonished, and they had no idea what was going on in front of them. Susanoo. Chen let out a faint voice. The whole body was completely wrapped by a huge skeleton, forming an absolute defense, resisting Laozi's attack. This is also the reason why Chen recklessly ambushed Laozi's trump card. Mangekyo Sharingan's strongest trick, Susanoo, that can only be used with Mangekyo in both eyes. Different from Hokage in the original book, Tatsu's Susanoo is dazzling gold, like a dazzling sun, resisting in front of him. Please see it automatically, the underlined version of the novel. 173 Six Paths. Terrible Four Tails. What the hell is this? What a powerful chakra. It is not inferior to the power of the tailed beast at all, and has resisted the attack of the tailed beast of the old Z. It's horrible, it's horrible. Iwagakure in the distance shuddered completely, and each of them had their mouths widened, looking at the scene in front of them in disbelief. They felt like a god. Terrible power, palpitating power. Tsunade was shocked, and his eyes flashed a bit of disbelief. This is what I saw in my grandfather's notebook, Susanoo unique to Sharingan. Tsunade still knows Sharingan very well. She once read Senju Hashirama's notebook, which records some things about Sharingan of Uchiha's family. Susanoo, highly regarded in Senju Hashirama's notes, possesses strength comparable to that of a tailed beast. Orochimaru observed all this through the white snake, and Orochimaru, who was fighting fiercely on the battlefield, shuddered in disbelief. This is the power of Sharingan, Sharingan. The greed in Orochimaru's heart grew stronger and stronger, and at the same time he was even more afraid of Chen, and even he was almost unable to control his mind, and was shocked by this scene. Laozi was in a state of berserk, and couldn't help but startled, as if wondering what the hell was in front of him. Don't think that you are invincible with the power of the tailed beast. The power of my Sharingan Susanoo is not inferior to that of the tailed beast. Chen whispered. His whole body was wrapped in skeletons, and chakra completely covered his body to resist Laozi's attack. Even in the face of Laozi's beast transformation, Chen still calmly dealt with it. It is precisely because he has Susanoo as his trump card. Open the eyes of Mangekyo and use Susanoo. Who opens Mangekyo? The color of Susanoo is different, and Chen's Susanoo is golden, dazzling, just like a golden sun, shocking, even far more than any kind of Susanoo in the original book. Golden Susanoo. This is all in Chen's plan. Facing Laozi's tail beast transformation, Chen uses Susanoo to fight. Susanoo can be said to be Chen's strongest trump card at the moment. At present, Chen's Susanoo is a nascent body, in the shape of a golden skeleton, more than 10 meters tall, like a hill in front of Chen. Chen's eyes opened Mangekyo Sharingan, and the three-petaled meniscus stared straight at Laozi, keeping calm. Damn! Ah! Laozi roared. Susanoo's absolute defense resisted his attack, which made Laozi helpless. At the same time, Laozi's whole body was scorched by high-heat chakra. Although Laozi has the power of human Jinchuriki column, he can't completely control the tailed beast in this form, and his skin is also burned by chakra. Chen responded calmly. Apparently, Chen was using Susanoo on purpose. Reason is also very simple. As Chen's strongest trump card at present, Susanoo has not yet tested the power of Susanoo, and must. Zuo Nengu is constantly growing in battle, and can only use Susanoo, which is in its infancy, at most. After that, there are semi-adults, matures and perfects and even the ultimate. So Chen Kai used Susanoo to correspond to it, in order to hone Susanoo's power. Before doing this, Chen would not use Susanoo easily. After all, Susanoo consumes too much pupil power. Poor Sasuke just used Susanoo to draw hatred on the day of the Five Shadows talk and blinded his eyes. Chen and Sasuke are different. Chen has Yongdun, but he doesn't have so many concerns. As long as he doesn't consume too much, Yongdun's power is enough to repair Chen's eyes. Chen controlled Susanoo, punched out with a punch, rolled up a gust of wind, smashed directly on the body of the old purple-tailed beast, and smashed the old purple into the Shangshui River. Bang! A loud bang burst out, the river splashed, and rolled huge splashes of water erupted, and at the same time, the ground within a few hundred meters was shaking violently, making loud noises. Punch made all Iwagakure in the distance look horrified, but Mukuro felt cold in his limbs, and he couldn't move at all. Even if he was as strong as Laozi, he was punched into the river by this punch and was obviously injured. After a while, Laozi's chakra burst out of the river. Laozi roared, and fell into a state of madness and anger, which formed a sharp contrast with Chen's calmness at this time. Six Paths in the ring was also surprised at this time. Chen boy, your Susanoo is actually a very special color of gold. The power and potential of this Susanoo is even more special than the reincarnation of the old man's son Indra. And mighty. Chen moved in his heart, and when he heard the words of the old man's six paths, he felt relieved. The old man of six paths was talking to Chen. At this time, the runaway Laozi seemed to have noticed something. The four-tailed monkey king's voice came from Laozi's body. This breath, this familiar breath. Chen's heart moved, and Laozi's body seemed to have some kind of mutation. The body of the four tails, Sun Wukong actually used Laozi's body to speak. It's the Six Paths Fairy. You have the breath of the Six Paths Fairy. The four-tailed Sun Wukong suddenly looked at Chen, and the state of the tailed beast was gradually lifted. He looked at Chen in disbelief, and his eyes were full of fear. How can you have that old man's breath? Isn't that old man dead a long time ago? This is impossible. When the Six Paths old man communicated with Chen, the chakra and aura leaked out, and they were actually perceived by the Four Tails who were familiar with the immortal breath of the Six Paths. So the Four Tails Monkey King was extremely shocked, and borrowed Laozi's body to investigate the situation. The result just got frightened. The four-tailed Monkey King actually felt the breath of the Six Paths immortal from the boy in front of him. If the tailed beasts are the most awe-inspiring person, it is undoubtedly the Six Paths immortal, but Chen has the aura of the Six Paths immortal. Why not let the Four Tails be shocked? Old Z, run. Four Tails concluded that Chen must have some connection with the Six Paths immortal. He was so frightened that he reminded Laozi. Subscription to 174. You are so scary. After the four tails noticed the faint smell of the six paths immortal on Chen's body, they let Lao Zi run away. For the four tails, the six paths immortal is the most terrifying existence. How can it not be shocked and hear the words of the four tails? The surrounding Iwagakure and Tsunade are stunned. Isn't the six paths immortal the legendary ancestor of the ninja world? It really exists in this world, and that Uchiha Chen actually has the aura of the six paths immortal on his body for a while, and the Iwagakure all stunned. This is just as surprised as they saw Susanoo, even more surprised than Susanoo after seeing Chen use it. Uchiha Chen is actually able to get involved with the six paths immortal. No wonder he is so talented at such a young age, and his strength is so terrible to have a title like the Light of the Stars. The minds of these Iwagakure, the image suddenly became mysterious, and he was able to have a relationship with the six paths immortal. This aloof boy is indeed mysterious and terrifying. No wonder even the captain of Shiraito was defeated by him. The Iwagakure all thought to themselves. They were also quite frightened when the four-tailed Monkey King said this. The more they thought about it, the more terrifying they felt, and the more and more awe-inspiring they looked at Chen. Tsunade was also slightly startled. Chen actually had the breath of the six paths immortal, which made Tsunade a little surprised. No wonder Chen was so calm and composed. He must have a whole card in the distant battlefield. Orochimaru also heard this through the white snake, and suddenly his original ambition and the greed subsides, and it is also shocking for a while. The four-tailed Monkey King's flustered performance and blurted words suddenly caused a big misunderstanding, and the eyes of everyone looking at Chen were already completely different. Mysterious, powerful, scary. This is the impression that Chen left them now, making them shudder. Lao Zi was also taken aback, and when he heard the four-tailed Monkey King say this, he immediately thought of retreating. After all, Chen's strength is very strong, and Susanoo's power is also terrible, and he can actually resist the attack of his tailed beast. Old Z couldn't keep the tailed beast form for too long, so he could only consider retreating. Of course, the main reason is that Lao Zi was also frightened by the words of the four-tailed Monkey King. This kid is very mysterious, and he has something to do with the six paths immortal. It is better to run first, otherwise it might be really troublesome. Lao Zi recovered from the tailed beast form, bit Kiba, and left a sentence. Boy, don't think that you will win if you take advantage of it. My Iwagakure village will not let it go. After speaking, Lao Zi's figure flashed, and after using the instant, he retreated sharply, and was more than 10 meters away from Shangshui River, away from the battlefield. We retreat. Lao Zi bit Kiba, gnashing his teeth, and glanced at Chen, the most helpless retreat. He has already seen Chen's strength. With Chen here, it is indeed very difficult for him to have a meeting with Sunagakure, and now he has no choice but to retreat. Lao Zi escaped with a forbearance, lest Chen chase, but also increased the speed and fled in embarrassment. The surface of the Shangshui River resumed its water flow, and in the midst of the violent storm, the battle just now seemed to have never happened. Chen didn't expect things to go so smoothly. Lao Zi retreated so simply. And he didn't even think about chasing. This battle also cost him a lot. Chen gathered the chakra. The golden Susanoo gradually disappeared, and Chen sighed. The consumption of chakra is very serious. Susanoo really is the most chakra-consuming big move after Mangekyo Sharingan is activated. Susanoo's consumption of chakra is simply terrifying. Even if Chen's chakra is huge, it is very depleted. But fortunately, he did not gain nothing at all. At least after this time, he had a general understanding of Susanoo's power, and he would be more proficient in using Susanoo next time. Lien Chen himself did not expect that his Susanoo was actually golden, which was extraordinary. And listening to the old man Six Paths said that his Susanoo has more potential than Indra's reincarnated Susanoo, which makes Chen in a good mood. Of course, if Susanoo doesn't consume chakra, your Mangekyo Sharingan will be invincible. The old man of Six Paths said angrily. Chen smiled but said nothing. The old man Six Paths said it well. Chen. At this moment, Tsunade, who had been hiding in the vicinity for a long time, finally rushed out and came to Tatsu's side. And the white snake that Orochimaru channeled also got into the grass and disappeared. Orochimaru himself was surprised and sighed on the distant battlefield. It seems that for the time being, don't play Sharingan's idea. That guy Chen is too mysterious, so we can only look for opportunities in the future. At this time, Chen seemed to notice the disappearance of the white snake, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Tsunade took 3 steps and made 2 steps to Chen's body, checked the situation on Chen's body, and said with concern, "It's okay, you." "It's okay, it's just that chakra consumes a lot. Fighting the tailed beast is really difficult. This old Z is not skilled in the master of the tailed beast, otherwise it is really difficult to say," Chen said lightly. Chen was also using Susanoo for the first time. At first, he was a little uncomfortable, but he quickly mastered this power. "That's good, I have military ration pills here," Tsunade said with concern, and took out a military ration pill. "Thank you." Chen held Tsunade's snow-white weed, and the corner of his mouth smiled. Tsunade smiled and shook his head slightly. General Chen swallowed the grain pills, and at the same time communicated with the 6 paths immortal. "Old man, you are too ugly, so you just scare the 4 tails away, otherwise this time, it might be possible for me and Tsunade team up to smash the 4 tails." Hearing this, the old man of 6 paths twitched at the corners of his mouth. "What do you mean he looks so ugly? Old man, look at you, you should really look in the mirror. With 2 horns and a sloppy face, how does this look like a ninja sect founder?" Chen kept complaining, and the face of the old 6 paths turned even darker. There have been a lot of things going on recently. I'm sorry, the watermelon will be added after this time. This chapter is free. Recommend a friend's book. Book title: Bringing a Mobile Phone to Hokage. Introduction. An ordinary young man travels through the world of Hokage with a mobile phone. Practice too slowly. Download, Auto-Refine Chakra. Automatic training 24 hours a day. Hey, you can also speed up. 2x, 3x, 4x hand seal is too difficult to trivialize. Download an automatic hand seal. Exclamation mark quote. Siwei Shenhai Wu Yin. The fingerprint input is successful, and the Grand Fireball is activated. There is no Kekkei Genkei, Sharingan. Mokuden, Wood Style. Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse. 175 Susanoo's Artifact. Seeing the old man's 6 paths, face getting darker and darker, Chenyi finally stopped complaining. In fact, he just said casually. Seeing the old man's 6 paths looking embarrassed, he gradually stopped complaining. If he really annoyed the old man, but it won't work. The old man of 6 paths is still there. While humming, in the past, the old man was also a handsome man in the ninja world. Yushu faced the wind, and he was mighty and domineering. Chen turned over Byakugan, his head full of black lines. He found out that the old man's 6 paths was indeed a bit narcissistic. Chen, although we didn't hurt Laozi, we managed to block the talks between Iwagakure and Sunagakure. This time, it's a big success. Tsunade was in a good mood and smiled. Well, that's true. Chen smiled and nodded. I just don't know what happened to Orochimaru and Jiraiya. You are still hiding such a powerful trump card just now. I guess most of them are going to lose the bet. Tsunade had a smile in his eyes and a hint of pride. Now that Chen's strength is steadily increasing, especially that Susanoo was terrible just now, even Tsunade wouldn't dare to say victory easily. Chen's strength is progressing faster and faster. Of course, Sanin's strength has also improved rapidly, gradually honing in the battlefield. Sanin has experienced hundreds of battles, and should not be underestimated. There is also Namikaze Minato. After Naoki's death, he also honed himself crazily. Relying on Hiraishin and Rasengan, Namikaze Minato can compete with the peak Jonin at this time, and it is also progressing rapidly. White Fang is still alive, Sanin is famous, and rising stars such as Namikaze Minato. Through this war, Chen faintly sees the golden age of Konoha. No wonder Hanzo would say that the final winner of this war will be Konoha, but it is true that the current Konoha is at its most prosperous period. Chen smiled. I must not let Iwagakure and Sunagakure truly unite. Our next strategy should be to choose when to start the war and end the war as soon as possible. Against the last big country alone, Konoha has a huge chance of winning. If only facing Sunagakure or Iwagakure, maybe Konoha would have resolved the war long ago. Well, as I thought, this war has been going on for 3 years, and I don't know how long it will be. Tsunade sighed with emotion. Knew it, the 3rd year of the war had passed, and Chen was 13 years old, the same age as Uchiha Itachi in the original book when he opened his eyes. But Chen knew that this war would only last 2 or 3 years. Of course, for a war, 2 or 3 years is not a long time. Moreover, the existence of Chen can also change the plot and end the war ahead of schedule. As long as Iwagakure and Sunagakure are no longer united, this war cannot last long. A long war will bring down the 4 kingdoms of wind, fire, soil, and rain. Chen rode. Tsunade agrees, standing side by side with Chen, and the two of them rarely have this quiet time. Tsunade was also shocked by the battle between Chen and the 4-tailed Jinchuriki, column Li Laozi, and he also had many doubts, such as: why did the 4 tails say that Chen has the breath of the 6 paths immortals, but he is very smart and didn't ask more, who doesn't have his own secrets? Even Tsunade has the secrets of Shikatsu Forest. After this battle, I'm afraid the high-level people you endured will be shaken. Tsunade chuckled lightly, thinking about the headache of Iwagakure's senior management, and a slight smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Chen smiled. His current strength is still in the growth stage. This is just the beginning. After having Mangekyo Sharingan, it is just the beginning. Thinking of this, Chen suddenly communicated with the old man's 6 paths in the consciousness space. Old man, do you have a quick way to increase Susanoo's power? Chen's Susanoo is only a nascent body, and the outside is just a layer of skeletons, and its power is far less than that of the grown Susanoo. Chen is very clear that after opening Mangekyo Sharingan, the strongest power is Susanoo, so Chen is very concerned about the increase of Susanoo's power. The old man from 6 paths blew his beard and stared. I know now that I'm going to trouble the old man, and just now I dared to slander the old man's appearance and say that the old man is ugly. Who? Chen looked righteous and dignified, looked left and right, and said righteously, someone dares to say that you are ugly, old man, I will help you teach him a lesson. Quote. Immortal 6 paths was completely speechless. He realized that his disciple was not an ordinary thick-skinned disciple. He was not careful in accepting his disciples. And, the old man of 6 paths could only reluctantly compromise. Okay, I really have a way to make your Susanoo stronger. What method? Chen's eyes lit up. After your Susanoo's strength reaches half body, you can equip artifacts. If you equip artifacts at that time, the power will be greatly improved. The old man of 6 paths said simply. Chen's heart moved. Of course he knew that Susanoo could be equipped with divine weapons. Uchiha Itachi's Susanoo had 3 divine weapons, such as the 10-fist sword and the Yata mirror, and their power was unparalleled. The same goes for Sasuke and others. But aren't all artifacts automatically transformed after Susanoo grows up? Chen wondered. Well, it's true. However, although Susanoo's magical artifact is powerful, it is inferior to an artifact I know, and I left an artifact in the ninja world back then. The old man of 6 paths said with a smile. The artifact left by the old man of 6 paths. Chen's eyes lit up. No need to think about it. It must be a good thing. If it is equipped on his future Susanoo, its power is self-evident. Thinking of this, Chen's heart throbbed. Old man, there is still such a good thing hidden. Where is it? Chen asked. 6 paths smiled slightly. You kid now knows how to curry favor with the old man. Hey, it's okay to tell you, but you still need to make Susanoo stronger and reach a semi-adult or mature body before talking about it. Chen pouted his lips and muttered. I just know how to pretend to be mysterious. I am the first in the morning, it is really important to subscription, if you want support to read the underlined version of the novel. 176 They are worse than us. Please, ask for a reward for monthly pass. If you want to raise Susanoo to the semi-adult and mature stage, you need stronger pupil power. Chen is also very aware of this. This is also his strongest trump card, so Chen attaches great importance to it. The old man of 6 paths is still there, nagging, but Chen started to think. Relying on Mangekyo Sharingan, my strength has also reached cage level, although it is only a junior cage level, but it can be regarded as entering the room. This time the war is still going on, so I should be more. Reputation. The bigger the reputation, the more it will make Danzo and other Konoha executives jealous. Even if it is to betray Konoha, it will be beneficial. Chen thought silently in his heart. In addition, there are the 3 Konan 3. When they become stronger, they will be able to formally establish Akatsuki, and start developing the power of Akatsuki, with the Land of Rain as their base. Chen thought about it. Akatsuki should also start to develop gradually, and then he must get another identity for himself, so that he can act in the ninja world. Chen's mind changed, thinking about everything. Everything is in Chen's plan. His strength has grown very rapidly, and his reputation has become bigger and bigger, making Chen feel like a duck to water on the battlefield, and gradually began to deploy. With the help of the 3 Konan 3, he can master the Akatsuki organization in his hand, and it is a prophetic plot, no less than anyone else. Chen has no interest in maintaining the peace of the ninja world, but he wants to rely on his own hands to stand at the pinnacle of the ninja world, the strongest power of the master. He let out a sigh of relief, and Chen thought about his future plans. He gradually calmed down again. Finally dealing with the 4-tailed people Jinchuriki, Column Force and Iwagakure, Chen was in a good mood and held Tsunade's little hand. Tsunade also showed a smile. The corner of his mouth became softer and gentler. He leaned on Chen's shoulder actively, and his eyes also showed a gentle color. Noticing Tsunade's expression, Chen made Tsunade take the initiative every time, which made Chen very embarrassed, and immediately cut off the contact with the old man's 6 paths without hesitation, and wrapped his hands around Tsunade's waist. Tsunade's body trembled slightly, but he didn't show any signs of resistance. Instead, there was a hint of Yuhi's dizziness on his cheeks, but he was still following Chen's movements, just biting lightly. Lips are silent. Chen kissed Tsunade's delicate earlobe, and found that Tsunade's body was really unusual. Even the tip of his ear immediately turned pink. Tsunade's cheeks were open to Yuhi, and he was defeated by Chen's surprise attack. Whereas there a little bit of domineering on the battlefield. In fact, this is indeed the case. It can be seen several times in the original work that although Tsunade is swift and decisive, she is indeed a little woman when it comes to love. Not only Tsunade, but also Kushina, the little pepper, which makes Chen feel fortunate that the girls around him are cuter than each other. Chen and Tsunade warmed up for a while, then went to the stronghold. Within the base, Chen and Tsunade came back and found that Orochimaru had not moved at all. They smiled at each other, and Tsunade was even more excited. Chen, it's really good luck to follow you. It seems that this time we are ahead of Orochimaru and Jiraiya. 3 million, here we go. Tsunade's mouth curled into a smile, and he was extremely excited. That is. Chen also smiled. The two returned to the stronghold, and the ninjas in the stronghold were full of reverence. They all looked at Chen, and after hearing that Chen alone was blocking Laozi in Iwagakure village, the ninjas in the camp also looked at Chen. That is the power of the 4-tailed Jinchuriki column. Of course, the power of the tailed beast is very clear in Chen's heart. In fact, Laozi's strength is still quite strong. Only then did he flee in embarrassment. Otherwise, if he really fought, Laozi's threat would still be great. According to the store, Konan 3 people are practicing ninjutsu. Chen watched for a while. Yahiko and Nagato have been learning ninjutsu with Chen for almost a year. Nagato has Sharingan, and progress is very fast. And Konan, needless to say, Konan has been practicing with Jiraiya for a long time before. and the time of practicing ninjutsu is longer than both Nagato. Under such circumstances, the strength of the three people three has grown rapidly and become very powerful. The talents of the three Konin three are all excellent. In the original book, Jiraiya only taught them for 3 years, and the three of them have been able to stand on their own. Chen observed the practice of Konin's trio of three. The trio of three has basically been able to use most of the ninjutsu, and it is estimated that in another year, Akatsuki will be able to officially develop. Brother Chen. Chen watched for a while. Konin grinned and found Chen, then ran to Chen's side, hanging on Chen's body and refused to come down. Chen smiled and played with Konin for a while. Konin giggled and said, "Brother Chen, I have practiced the secret technique very well now, maybe one day I can catch up with your shuriken technique." Konin has always admired Tatsu's shuriken technique. Chen smiled and nodded, pinching Konin's nose. "Of course, your paper secret technique is very promising, and it is not a problem to surpass my shuriken technique." Chen is very confident in Konin, and also knows very well what realm Konin will cultivate in paper secrets in the future. Chen smiled and was about to speak, when he heard a loud noise from inside the store. It turns out that Orochimaru and Jiraiya are back. Chen and Tsunade heard the movement and looked at the situation. I only saw that Orochimaru and Jiraiya were covered with wounds, and the ninja troops behind them were also heavily injured. Orochimaru and Jiraiya were both seriously injured, and the ninja troops also lost a lot. However, Chen looked at Minato and Nara Shikaku in the ninja army, but luckily neither of them were damaged. "You are." Chen looked at Jiraiya and Orochimaru, who were not lightly injured this time. Be able to hurt Orochimaru and Jiraiya like this, it seems that Sunagaku's people are not easy to deal with. "Sunagaku is strong?" Chen asked. This time Sunagaku village seems to be prepared, and Chiyo brings along his younger brother, a powerful puppet master named Ebizo, and many elite ninjas. With blood on the corners of Jiraiya's mouth, she coughed. "It seems that you have been taught a bad lesson." Tsunade laughed. Sunagaku is even worse." Orochimaru sneered, maintaining a pride even when he was injured. 177 He is simply a monster. Orochimaru snorted coldly, with a bit of pride in his expression. "Although we are seriously injured, Sunagaku is not much better. Chiyo's younger brother Ebizo was almost killed by us. Chiyo himself was seriously injured, and Sunagaku's elite troops suffered heavy casualties." Jiraiya grinned and nodded, agreeing with Orochimaru's words. Chen nodded secretly. This is the domineering Sannin should have. Orochimaru and Jiraiya joined forces, coupled with Konoha's elite ninja. Even Sunagaku had to be careful. Of course, for now, this time Sunagaku and Konoha are a bit of a loser, meaning Orochimaru and Jiraiya were also seriously injured, and Tsunade immediately used a chakra knife to treat their wounds. Orochimaru and Jiraiya gasped and regained their strength. "You are working so hard." Tsunade shook his head. "It's good, but Sunagaku and Iwagaku's union was temporarily stopped." Orochimaru smiled and turned to Chen. "In fact, half of the reason why he is so desperate is because of Tatsu." He observed Tatsu using Susanoo's powerful, deep stab through the white snake. Excited him, let Orochimaru hold his breath, stimulated his potential, and then fought against Sunagaku recklessly. Chen didn't expect that he stimulated Orochimaru, shrugged, and looked at Nara Shikaku and Namikaze Minato again. Seeing how scarred the two of them looked, Chen said, "You guys actually got hurt all over, especially Minato. You don't have Hiraishin technique." Chen shook his head while giving 2 healing chakra pills to the two of them. Minato and Shikaku gratefully accepted the service, but Jiraiya smiled and said, "This time, thanks to Shikaku's strategy and Minato's support, it really helped a lot, otherwise it wouldn't be easy." It was so. Orochimaru also nodded slightly. "Thanks to Minato's Hiraishin technique, otherwise this time is really not easy. Sunagaku seems to be alert and has brought a lot of experts. Looks like Minato has improved a lot." Chen smiled slightly and patted Minato on the shoulder. Who would have thought to be photographing Minato's wound? Minato grinned at Kiba for a while, looked at Chen with an incomparable resentment, and asked Chen to let go. Minato looked at Chen and asked curiously, "Chen, how is your situation?" Under the pressure of Chen, Minato has made great progress, and now he is the peak Jonin's strength, plus the technique of Hiraishin. It is enough to deal with the shadow powerhouse. This made Minato feel a little bit of comparison with Chen and wanted to see how Chen's situation was. Chen smiled and was about to speak, but Tsunade next to him said proudly, "Chen alone fought against the four-tailed Jinchuriki column of Iwagakure village, and forced Laozi to scare him away, and Laozi took Iwagakure village with him. The elites were frightened and fled. You didn't see that scene." "What?" A look of shock flashed in Namikaze Minato's eyes, and his figure was startled. Nara Shikaku also widened his eyes. Orochimaru already knew the news, but he still held back at this time. Sigh. Jiraiya was stunned. Jinchuriki column force was scared away by you. What Jiraiya really marvels at is this, to know that the real strong will not run away at will, unless there is a huge gap in strength. Tsunade's tone, the sand-tailed Jinchuriki column power is not as simple as running away. It's like being scared to the ground. Not as good as Chen, you really are. Minato shook his head, not knowing how to evaluate Chen. Shikaku next to him smiled and said, "Chen is a monster, otherwise it wouldn't be called Light of the Stars." The Light of the Stars, Uchiha Chen. It can be said that the name Chen is now well deserved. Minato next to him only nodded. Chen is indeed a monster, but I thought that the gap with him was gradually narrowed, but it would be fine if he didn't widen the gap. Orochimaru and Jiraiya's eyes on Shang Chen were somewhat complicated. They saw Chen's rise. Even they couldn't figure out Chen's current strength. How many chances of winning? My heart is even more dignified, and I feel a heavy pressure. Although they all ask themselves that their current strength is not inferior to Chen, but Chen has only risen in the past few years, and the speed of growth has made Jiraiya and Orochimaru feel ashamed. If he is allowed to grow like this, even Sannin will not be able to stop Chen's edge. What a monster! Jiraiya twitched the corners of her mouth and said with emotion. Tsunade chuckled, happy and proud, and raised his snow-white hand in front of Jiraiya, saying, "Hurry up, get $3 million. Tsunade never forgets the stakes, and mentions Orochimaru and Jiraiya with a bitter face. 3 million is not a small number, it is basically equivalent to all their income in the past few years. Tsunade won 3 million, she was in a good mood, and she finally got out of the shadow of Naoki's death and regained her old smile. Soon, news of Tatsu, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya repelling Iwagakure and Sunagakure, respectively, spread, and Tatsu became even more famous. Chen's opponent this time is the four-tailed Jinchuriki column force. The news that Chen scared the four-tailed Jinchuriki column force lousy and flees. The battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain is full of amazement, and the praise for Chen is getting stronger and stronger. Get up. Of course, there is Tsunade Sannin, also famous, but the effect is not as shocking as Chen's this time. Power of Jinchuriki column, the person with the power of the tail beast, who was actually scared away by Chen. Sunagakure, Iwagakure, Omegakure and other ninjas from big and small countries were even more shocked when they heard the news, and they all felt that Chen was profound. Unpredictable. Others don't know that the reason why Laozi was scared away by Chen was because of the 6 paths immortal. Chen also simply let this beautiful misunderstanding continue, so that Chen's reputation on the battlefield was even higher. Even Orochimaru and Jiraiya feel the pressure, and Orochimaru and Jiraiya have recently devoted themselves to the study of ninjutsu, preparing to improve their strength. Thanks to the wind of the martial arts, G.U. Lanson's reward. Please download the Filu novel. 178 Let me be the elder of the Uchiha family. And a lot of prestige. Of Chen, Light of the Stars, spread farther and farther on the battlefield, even Sannin felt a little pressure, let alone others. Under Chen's light, both Sannin and Minato began to practice hard. Sannin and Minato were geniuses among geniuses. Under Chen's pressure, they progressed very quickly. Even Chen was amazed. Of course Chen's practice didn't stop, but for more time, Chen was teaching Conan and the three of them. With the gradual improvement of Tatsu's strength, he realized that he should also accelerate the growth of the three Conan 3, and began to implement the Akatsuki plan. The current battlefield in the Rain Kingdom is chaotic, and it is the best time for Akatsuki to take root. To develop Akatsuki and develop a base in the country of Rain, even if there is any change in the future, Chen has a way out. So Chen worked hard to teach the three Conan 3, and the results are remarkable so far. With the progress of the three of Conan and Tenten, Conan himself has become more and more eloquent, and faintly has the high cold bearing in the original book, which makes Chen feel relieved and strange. How does this feel like being cultivated? Chen touched his chin and looked at Conan, who was practicing the paper secret technique in the distance, and muttered. Chen guided the three of them to practice for a while, and then saw another familiar person coming to him. The second elder of the Uchiha family, Uchiha Yasushi. Uchiha Yasushi visited Tatsu once last time. After learning that Tatsu Mangekyo Sharingan opened his eyes, he was shocked and his attitude towards Tatsu was completely different. This time, the second elder came here specifically to find Chen. Second elder. Chen smiled slightly. After seeing Uchiha Jing coming, he also knew that he must have something to look for, so he brought the second elder into the room, made a pot of tea, and the two sat opposite each other. When the two elders saw Chen, they were filled with emotion, their hearts were complicated, they were both excited and happy. The second elder is a high-level executive of the Uchiha family, and he has been paying close attention to Chen's growth and progress before, and he is also very familiar with the name of Chen's genius and knows how powerful Chen is. But even so, no one would have imagined that Chen has grown so well now. Chen's progress is really fast, and he has become a battlefield in a blink of an eye. Now his name on the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain is probably not known to everyone. No one is not Akatsuki, but also opened the Mangekyo Sharingan, which is the pride of the Uchiha family and the strongest of the younger generation. The second elder looked at Chen with a complicated expression, took a sip of tea, and sighed softly. Chen, you are really outstanding. Thinking about me when I was young makes me feel ashamed. Second elder is joking, I'm just lucky. Chen maintained an attitude of neither humble nor arrogant. Don't be humble, you are the hope of Uchiha's future. Since the second generation of Hokage came to power, our Uchiha family has gradually been under suspicion by some high-level executives. The rise of genius is the hope of our family. The second elder spoke to Chen in a heartfelt manner, which made Chen's heart move slightly. It seemed that the second elder really had something important to say today. The second elder pondered. You have grown beyond the clan's imagination, and the Lord has also. Is very supportive of you, and he wants to make you the fourth elder of the Uchiha family. When the fourth elder of the Uchiha family was stunned, his heart moved slightly. The elders of the Uchiha family are of high power, second only to the head of the family. At present, there are only 3 elders in the Uchiha family, and each elder has great authority. They have the right to mobilize the guard force and the deliberation power, and can participate in the decision-making of the Uchiha family's affairs. And Uchiha Ming actually intended to make him the 4th elder, which was unexpected to Zaichin. At present, your reputation in the clan is unmatched. In fact, the patriarch also had intentions earlier, but you are still young and slightly lacking in qualifications, so I didn't mention it before. The second elder smiled. Chen Dao, the 3 elders are all highly respected, and the prestige of the patriarch is also extraordinary. To make me the 4th elder, Chen is ashamed. Haha, don't be humble, you kid, looking at the battlefield, who can compare to you in your military exploits, no matter what. Konoha or Uchiha, you are proud of you. The 2 elders couldn't stop smiling. Chen smiled, and it seemed that the Uchiha family really took him seriously. With your current strength, you are among the best in our Uchiha clan, so the patriarch has the intention to promote you to the 4th elder. The second elder smiled, with a hint of mystery on his face, and said in a low voice, "You are very talented, and now you have a high reputation. In the future, you may hope to become the head of my Uchiha family." Hearing what the second elder said, Chen finally understood his purpose. It seems that the second elder has taken a fancy to Chen's potential, and is ready to win over him, and even prepare to form an alliance with him. The intention in the second elder's words is clearly to make Chen the head of the Uchiha family in the future. Chen understands it. Wei Wei Yishao, thank you second elder for reminding me, I will do my best. That's fine, that's fine. The second elder didn't say much. He knew that Chen was a smart person, and he laughed. The two foxes, one big and one small, looked at each other and smiled tacitly. For Chen, of course, the higher the status in the Uchiha family, the better. Although Chen intends to develop the power of Akatsuki, Akatsuki has only just started, that is his secret identity, and of course, the higher the identity on the bright side, the better. The fourth elder of the Uchiha family. If you can become the elder of the Uchiha family first, that would be great. But Chen is very clear that he is still too young now, although his record and strength are there, he still needs to settle before he can sit in that position. Or to put it simply, he needs more prestige to become the elder of the Uchiha family. Otherwise, Yuchen's current age is still too young. After sending off the second elder, Chen thought about it in his heart, and he was fascinated by his thoughts, but a Chunin came to him and said that Tsunade had invited him. Chen put the thoughts in his mind behind and prepared to go to Tsunade. Chen looked at the sky, only to see that it was gradually getting into the night. It was so late that I didn't know what Tsunade had to do with me. Cough cough, Feilu reminds you in the next chapter. Collection, recommendation, and points. 179 Chen's first kill. Night is as cold as water, and the jade rabbit comes out from the west. I only saw a crescent moon hanging in the sky, sprinkled on a layer of silver-colored brilliance, illuminating the world. Chengdu sighed lightly at such a beautiful scene, but he didn't have time to appreciate the beautiful scenery, his heart was already on Tsunade. So late that Tsunade actually looked for him, which is really meaningful. When I saw it, I saw that there was still Tsunade's carefully prepared food on the table, seaweed rice balls, sushi and some special dishes. These dishes are obviously made by Tsunade, all of them are exquisite, and they look very appetizing. I didn't expect Tsunade to have such a side. Chen could imagine how Tsunade had carefully prepared the food before this, and couldn't help but warm his heart. Tsunade, who has always been known for his toughness, would also have such a side, which made him somewhat moved. Chen tasted a piece of sushi and praised with emotion, "It's really delicious, Tsunade, your cooking skills are getting better and better." Chen was overwhelmed with emotion and praised again and again, making Tsunade's mouth keep talking. "Let's eat together." Chen waved his hands and motioned Tsunade to sit on his body. Well. Update is late, but this chapter is so powerful, you know. Ask for a monthly pass, give a reward, and automatically read the underlined version of the novel. 180 I will be prettier than them. After all, the two have special identities, one is the princess of the Senju clan, the other is the genius of the Uchiha clan, and in name they have a master-disciple relationship. Once their relationship is exposed, it will be a troublesome thing. Tsunade didn't want others to know out of shyness and consideration. Chen then returned to the residence with a smile. Anyway, being with Tsunade made him feel extremely happy. Chen recalled everything that happened tonight and returned to his room. It was already late at night, and Chen had always slept with Conan, this girl. I thought Conan should have fallen asleep at this time, but who would have thought that as soon as Chen entered the room, he saw Conan blinking and getting up from the bed, a pair of big eyes stared at him. "Conan, you haven't slept yet. Brother Chen, where have you been? I've been waiting for you." Conan looked up and down Chen and said suspiciously. "Ah, I thought it was a good night, so I went out for a walk." "Is it?" Conan looked up and down at Chen, suddenly approached Chen, smelled it like a puppy, and suddenly his expression changed. Liar, obviously I went to Tsunade's sister's place. I can smell the fragrance of Tsunade's sister. Quote. Chen looked at Conan speechlessly. Where did this little girl come from? How can she smell the fragrance and know people and learn to be jealous at a young age? It really hurts. Chen looked at Conan and suddenly felt a lot of pressure. This year, even little Loli is not good. Conan wrinkled his delicate face, looked at Chen with a bit of loss, and muttered, HMPH, brother Chen and sister Tsunade have been too close recently, and they don't seem to like me. How come? Seeing that the girl Conan was getting more and more jealous, Chen immediately comforted, I have always liked Conan very much. Chen rubbed the little girl's brain, her eyes lit up, and she blinked her star-like eyes, really? Of course. Hearing Chen's reply without hesitation, Conan smiled with satisfaction, and Chen was relieved, finally getting the little girl done. Time at 10:10 passed. Chen's name spread all over the battlefield and became famous, and the news that he shocked the Four Tails came out, which shocked the ninja Big Country and Small Country. Due to the obstruction of Chen and Sanin, this time Sunagakure and Iwagakure did not have an official alliance, and the three countries of Konoha, Sunagakure, and Iwagakure were still fighting constantly. At the same time, his relationship with Tsunade is getting better and better. And Chen even taught Conan 3 to practice ninjutsu, which has achieved great results. In such a time, a year has passed.